swords and shields, clanging in rhythm. Hearts of steel, yet minds in schism. The wondrous company, we roam through the night, adventurers of antiquity, chasing the light, against the odds and against the tide.
This episode of Due West brought to you by Monster. Name that monster. Get a free 1 hour early access to the episode when it's posted.
Are they gonna name it when you hear it?
If you can guess the name.
Was it the Miami Vice one?
The Miami Vice. Fuck it. Is a Java monster. Is good. I don't know, for some reason I always like the Java monsters. I always thought they were good. Ugh. Alright, I do believe everybody be here. Saber be back with his drank. Renville, you present?
Damn,
President properly slushed, sir.
Fuck yeah. Nikos, how you doing? You got the cheese?
I am here.
Yay. And then Hachu be present, will be fully attending once he gets home. Drive safe, obviously. Peter got his drinkage. Torn be here and present, I do believe.
Present.
Alright. Let's see, the start time for right at the 5-minute mark. Sweet. Alright. Last time we left off on Due West, Wondrous Company have made their way up through the mountains of Georgia, that being southern Russia, Georgia, the Caucasus Mountains, or Caucasus, Caucasian Mountains, the White Mountains. Ever made your way through it, caused some avalanches, met some locals, learned the predicament going on and the extent of the Soviet crackdown on the Soviet satellite states, no longer being self-led, but now being directly controlled by the state itself. So much so that they were moving their own military forces there to enact these new laws and restrictions. With that threat coming in, your guys' prerogative was to break away from your mission in Syria and opt to head up north to conduct a in-force expedition to find the Amazons, alleged Amazons lost in the mountains, or rather in hiding in the mountains. Fast forward a little bit, having met with them and made some diplomatic ties and promises, and having been given a challenge to prove your worth for them to fully trust you, as was their old tradition, it went a little awry. Found yourselves in what seemed to be another location before finding some possible leads on a unknown set of people that weren't known to even be alive at this time. Turns out they weren't dead, they've just been missing somewhere. Before that could really be dug in any further, it was discovered that the specific kind of shadowy werewolves native to that region in the plains up north ended up taking a liking to you guys, dispatching them pretty quickly. It seems that they were a little more methodical in their assault, attacking the refuge and the outskirts of the Amazons' little home built up in there. They found a way to release what was a captured dragon, very old one at that. Wondrous Company, having nearly lost a couple members, have dispatched said dragon in a rather effective way. Although, took a bit of a battering from it. Out of thanks and having well over proven yourselves to the Amazons, who now no longer feel a need to vibe check you to see if they can trust you, you guys have been granted a time in the bath. You've been granted time in the, pretty much every stall and everything is on limits to you guys and is allowed. So much so that an Amazon has been assigned to each of your rooms to assist you or fetch you anything that you should ask or attend to anything that you should need. some conversations were had, and last we left off, we had a nice fade to black as Torn once again got snoo-snooed by something much larger than himself. Well, Leroy was unfortunately tied down to a bed, unable to do anything other than listen to his friend in the next room. Everyone was able to get some good sleep. Everyone has now been granted a long rest and is fully good to go, fully recompiled to yourselves. You're feeling yourselves again, extra rested, and all of you are woken up in the mornings with a nice knock to each of your doors. Torn, you are woken up with a slight creak of the door and a more gentle foot shake before they step back out, as everyone's kind of given your 8:30 in the morning kind of wake-up knock. Except for you, Leroy. You are, unfortunately still tied down at the moment. It seems they have conveniently forgot that you're tied down, so we may have to wait on the party to actually notice that.
I can't feel my arms.
However, let me switch on over here to some nice casual music.
Jazz.
Yeah, it's a nice guitar mix, I think. I don't know, it might work. Should work. We'll see. As you guys are all giving your nice wake up, you're able to get dressed, tend to your gear, and everyone's kind of able to step out into the hallway at roughly the same time, minus Wilhelm, who is likely still sleeping in a bit, or has been called aside to perhaps work on a little something, and Leroy, who is conveniently still tied down.
Convenient.
I think you meant to say inconveniently.
Do you not see the DM's wanted poster?
I think you just did that to remove me from the picture because you're tired of my shit.
Nah. I'm trying to follow the path of what's happened. I'm trying to stay canon. But yeah, all of y'all are able to step out, minus Wilhelm and Leroy for the moment. Standing by down the hall is some of the Amazons just kind of looking to you silently, waiting for you guys to show that you're ready, and they'll eventually escort you guys towards breakfast.
Well, is everyone feeling more rested?
Yeah, something like that. I suppose Wilhelm is sleeping in.
Looks like it. Leroy too, it looks like.
So I had that breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast. That sounds nice.
Well, the Amazons kind of overlook the four of you and gives a slight side glance towards Leroy's room, and then kind of squints just a little bit, looks back over to all of you and gives a slow half bow and starts gesturing for the four of you to follow along as you guys will start heading down the path.
Torin will hesitate outside of Leroy's door for a second, like he's thinking deeply about something, and then move on.
We'll get back to you in a minute then, Leroy.
I want my mother.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no. Yeah, the four of you guys are shown along to a nice open area, sort of sitting type arrangement, bunch of tables, all in the nice Greek kind of cafe style. They made it pretty nice for themselves. Marble floors, somewhat dirty pillars. It's very Greek, minus the occasional snowdrift here and there that you guys are having to bundle up for, but they seem largely unaffected by, minus Nikos, who doesn't mind the cold.
It's very nice, aside from the fact that they have the incorrect marble, but you can't blame them for being in the mountains.
Yeah,
They did well with what they had.
they're a bit far away from mainland Greece to get the good marble.
That's a thought that counts.
roll me history, just cause.
18.
Yeah, you can tell this is specifically what seems to be Crimean marble. What little bit that there is, likely not mined, but in quotations procured from what may be a maybe 12 to 1300s era Crimean marble pillars and blocks. How they moved it here, not entirely sure, but that's a later discussion. You guys will be able to be sat down, everyone will be cozy, you'll have an Amazon kind of attending to each of you as they'll be able to get your guys' orders, figure out what kind of food you got. Obviously, it's a bit limited. They don't have that wide array of food. Obviously, crops are a little stringent, and they've been operating off a pretty tight yield of produce. But plenty of meat, plenty of hunting. They seem to find a lot to hunt up here, especially bear. Lots of bear.
A little bit of everything, please.
They'll give a nod to that and kind of look to the others of you. In case you guys ask for anything outlandish, they'll be bringing a pretty standard large platters of what seems to be a bit of pork that they're probably a little hesitant to hand over. Some cooked sausages, some beef strips, what seems to be kind of like jerky. A nice fair mix of a little bit of everything, but it's very apparent that they have quite a bit more bear and beef than anything else.
Yes,
What does bear taste like?
From what I'm told out of character, it's kind of chewy. It's kind of dense.
Huh.
Gamey.
Very gamey. Very kind of hard to bite into based upon which parts you're eating.
Yes, there's nothing quite like the "we're sorry we almost got you killed with a dragon" breakfast complimentary meal.
You do sense a little bit of an air that they are just a little bit not distant, but there's kind of that semi-cautious movement, as if oh, we've been instructed that we screwed up. We need to do well by them, sort of aura with them. As you guys are eating your breakfast, you'll have the next while to relax, get some wine. That is something they do for breakfast. And we'll pan on over to the bedrooms. As Leroy, you'll get a nice little knock, knock, knock at the door.
Yeah.
Door kind of creaks a little bit, opens up, and you see a helmeted face with kind of a hawk on the top of it, kind of peek in and look left and right, then look over towards you, and just quirks a really high brow seeing you in your current state.
You know, I would love to answer the door, but I seem to be rather tied up at the moment. But if you're here to provide the room service that I was promised, I am more than willing to comply. But again, I seem to be acting with a bit of restraint here. So would you be so kind as to provide a helping hand?
Gives the most genuine head
Oh,
tilt,
dude.
but seems
Ash
to
doesn't even speak English.
doesn't speak English, but kind of gets a general idea of what you're suggesting. Roll me persuasion, Leroy. The head tilt hangs for a little while as the hand kind of goes to their chin and they kind of touch the bottom of their chin with one finger. Slowly step in, start to walk over to you, look at some of the ropes and bindings. Can kind of read you just enough to understand what you're stating as they pull the little miniature sword, the short kind of dagger length blade that they got on their opposite hip out, and just kind of give a nice little snap and start cutting some of the bindings, freeing you.
much obliged. Start rubbing my wrist, trying to get the circulation going again. They're kind of dangling and looking a little red around the, around the wrist, because blood flow cut off.
Yeah.
So
Gives
much
a little
obliged.
bit
Much
of
obliged. Is there a breakfast in bed service? Do you come with that service? Do you know where the rest of the party is?
gives a little bit of a
Where's-
half squint as they re-sheath the knife and kind of look towards the door towards you. Gives two kind of slower nods, and then we'll motion for you to follow her as she'll open the door and step out into the hall waiting for you.
Okay, so no premium service. Got it. Yeah, just kind of sigh and get to my feet and make sure I'm dressed adequately, and I follow.
Yeah, after a little bit, once you get dressed, as you start making your way down one of the halls and through the little open kind of awning area following the fully armored hoplite Amazon that's kind of escorting you, you see the other four that were assigned to each of the doors. Two of them immediately let out just the biggest sigh and go walking over, grabbing a broom and some other stuff and entering into your room. You kind of lose sight of them as they disappear into it. And yeah, you'll arrive to the party about 2/3 of the way through, eating rather large, nice platters of food. As all of you are able to kind of see over your shoulder Leroy being walked in by a hoplite who steps to the side, gives kind of a half sort of at attention type pose, and then turns and walks back out, leaving Leroy in the doorway.
Decided to wake up from your lie-in, huh?
Gents, today may not be the best day. I gotta say, the service in this place is subpar, even by country bumpkin standards back where I'm from. No food, no breakfast in bed, no foot massage, no bounce me Betty, nada. And I just having to listen to Torn all night. I'm real happy for him, but at the same time, I'm a little jealous. That's it? That's all you gotta say? Yeah, harumph? Really?
The beer is good. You should try it.
I could eat a kobold's tail. I'm hungry.
Bit too chewy for my taste.
Did they at least season it? Grabbing a piece and starting to munch.
Yeah, there's a little something there.
Torin is just like side-eyeing Nikos, looking slightly confused while easily tearing through the fucking too chewy meat with a mouthful of sharp teeth.
And I'm kind of side-eyeing Nikos, wondering what he means by there's a little something to it. Just like, is that poisoned? Did you put arsenic in this? Is there arsenic in my beer?
As you eat some of the meat, you realize what he means by a little something is it was dry stored, it seems, and is lacking much more than a little bit of salt for the most part. There's not too much else to it, unfortunately.
Somebody show me the kitchen. I need to have a word with their chef. This is appalling. Appalling, I dare say. I wanted to make a crack about something about the Achilles having a better fare when he took the beaches against the Trojans and killed their queen. But man, I don't know. Maybe that's not the right.
Do not think now is the time for that, Leroy.
Torin's gonna make eye contact with one of the people standing around, and he's gonna say in Greek to them,
he wishes to speak with your chef and perhaps share some cultural cooking methods. He's actually a very, very talented chef. You might learn a thing or two.
She kind of goes a little bit out of tension and kind of looks to you, gives a couple nods, looks over towards Leroy. kind of looks back to you, and give me a insight, Torn.
Ooh. 17.
There is a not disdained look, but a like, I don't want to do that, but I will if you say so kind of look that she's giving you.
He's gonna give her that look back, Nick.
No matter how intolerable you may find him, he's a good cook, and food is food. This
I'm agreeing, Greek. Like, the man may be an idiot, but he is a good cook.
Fuck you guys.
Can I roll a perception to see if I understand the vibes of this conversation?
Yeah, roll me perception. We'll see if you pick up on what they're.
I should have picked a Greek as I'm like, God.
Yeah, you get the rough idea of what they're stating. You're able to kind of look at her face and then look to them, and you're kind of able to see that like everyone's talking about Leroy, and you get a general idea of what's being stated. Before you can really answer to it or anything, she'll step forward and kind of puts a hand to your shoulder for a half moment, Leroy, and then gives you a little bit of a nod and looks over towards you, Torn. Inform him then that once you are finished, we will give him a tour of our quarters in the preparation area, if he so wishes.
I'm not understanding a word that's being said, but I'm giving her the squint eye. I'm looking up at her, giving her the squint eye. Looking at Torin with the same squint eye. Looking back at her with the squint eye. Looking at her hand on my shoulder with the squint eye. Looking at her with the squint eye. Wondering what kind of deal's been made with the devil, giving Torin the squint eye.
Why, you have been invited to the kitchen for cooking purposes in a cultural exchange of knowledge.
Is that so? You sure you're not trying to put me in the cook pot? Because I don't think I'd take. I'm still doing the squint eye back and forth. I don't think I'm gonna taste real good.
You wouldn't, not at all. No.
You would know.
I don't know if I trust you, my little kobold friend, but you know, worst
You
could
can
happen.
trust him.
I'm gonna be in the kitchens with a bunch of beautiful Amazon women. I can't complain. Show them some of our American ways.
Yeah.
So much fat, not enough dill.
I'll show them. I'll show them the proper American hands-on approach.
I'm gonna kind of squint at Leroy. Back to eating.
She'll
I
give
put my-
a bit of
My
a
bear
nod
down,
and
'cause I ain't eating that shit no more. I'm sorry. I'll nibble. I'll nibble on my freaking jacket before I nibble any more bear.
It's
She'll
so tough.
give a bit of a nod and kind of step back and wait for you guys to finish.
I've had hardtack that had more flavor than that.
You gonna eat that then?
I almost want to throw it and tell you to go fetch, but here you go.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Torn's gonna eat Leroy's bear as well.
His name was Wojtek.
Oh no! Nah, he's getting ready to fight the good fight. He ain't down here.
Wojciech literally has not been born yet.
It's 36. What?
Yeah, the bear.
Yeah, I
The
thought
bear
Wojciech was
born
like.
in... No, the bear was born in 42.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was his papa.
You're right.
That's who. His papa's name was Wojtek.
Also,
Yeah.
Wojciech is from Iran.
I thought he was Polish.
No, some Poles bought him at a market in Iran.
Okay, that tracks.
Get your random
Well,
ass
why
bear.
were there
walk
Poles
back.
in Iran?
They
Why
were
would there
going
be?
from the Soviet prison camps in the Soviet Union to the UK to fight for the British Army in Italy.
So they decided to go down through the Caucasus into Iran,
Not through the
and then
Caucasus.
loop around through Turkey.
Not through the Caucasus. Not through Turkey. They went down through like Kazakhstan, and that into Iran, and then into by sea to Egypt.
What is this? Drive USA Arcade?
It's a good
It's a
time.
hell of a loop.
Right. you gotta
Look, man,
take a wide
Stalingrad
berth.
was under siege at the time, so they couldn't exactly go through the Caucasus.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
And Iran had just been occupied by the British, so it was pretty clean passing. Today on Fun Facts with Due West.
but you were saying, Tor.
I don't know. I forgot.
Sorry. Okay. As you guys are able to finish up breakfast, another one of the Amazons will come walking up, a little more half armored, and will kind of look to all of you and specifically focus down Nikos and Torn. As soon as all of you have decided you are finished with breakfast, the Queen would like to speak with all of you. I've also been informed you wish to peruse our kitchen?
Oh, he does at least.
I would totally love to look into your larder. Wink, wink.
There's a little bit of a squid kind of looks back over. Very well, we'll have him see to the kitchen, and if the rest of you will follow with me when you are ready, I can show you to the Queen's quarters.
Trust me, of all the places that Leroy could get into trouble, I feel like a kitchen is on the bottom of the list. So this is good.
You say that.
Oh, he'll try
feel like-
regardless, I'm sure.
I feel like the least likely place for him to get into trouble is a men's dorm.
Tied to the bed, preferably.
Fortunately, they don't have any of those. Of course, I didn't swear. Games.
Yep, let's go.
I'm imagining Leroy being escorted to the kitchen, fondly, very, very comfortably laying a hand across the back of one of the Amazons while talking in English and elaborating with his hands, and they can't understand a fucking word he's saying. Just
Pretty much. Pretty much exactly how it's going. Yeah, two of them will step by, one of them armored, one of them not. The unarmored one obviously seeming a bit more like the cook, as evident by some of the flour that is still kind of sitting on the bottom part of their dress. But two of them will walk with Leroy and kind of show him down the hall, and we'll get to that scene in a little bit. As the rest of you are shown down another hallway connecting between a couple different buildings, and making your way to one of the larger central kind of houses that seems to be about 2.5 stories tall. You're shown inside. It's nice, big, marble floored, kind of everything here is relatively marble, or at least
Nice knockers.
nice wood. There is, unfortunately, no actual knockers, as there doesn't seem to be a real front door. It seems to be
plenty
a,
of knockers in the kitchen.
yeah, right. Ow, I cut my finger. How the fuck did I do that?
I rescind my nice knocker statement. This
I
they do
mean-
not have nice knockers.
Nice sconces.
They
there
have no
are
knockers.
there are indeed sconces and knockers at each door, but they are not physical knockers. They are bodily knockers, as the door seems to be a hinged one that doesn't have any sort of latch or lock to it, but instead seems to always have a sentry at it. Who essentially just does door duty. They step back and kind of open the door for the four of you to step in and walk your way in. It's a nice, relatively open floor room. It's that kind of old style of like 3 different sitting areas covered in like floor pillows and like those large old style bean bags. Couple of the floor tables set up with platters and what would be food if there was company. And you see walking down one of the staircases the Queen with one of her co-captains next to her walking just a couple steps behind her. She comes walking up and kind of opens her hands. Hello, I'm glad you can speak with me so hastily. I understand if you would have reservations with doing so.
I mean, we're here.
Well, please come take a seat, and I suppose we will what was the wording, get to it as to what you came to propose to us before the trials went awry. And she'll kind of motion you over, and the co-captain, instead of one of the servants or lower ranks, will actually start pouring the wine for you and setting it down in cups in front of some of the chairs. It's when I say chairs in quotations, it's basically those floor pillows, bordering on the edge of like Arabic style. It's that Greek kind of like half sitting sort of arrangement. And she'll sit down kind of crisscross. The captain will sit down a little bit next to her and kind of look to all of you to take your seats on the big old plush pillows.
Torin does that thing where he like stops at regular chair height and then like unsurely lowers himself a few more inches every time.
Just slowly squatting.
I'll take a seat.
Nikos,
I
where are
will
the
as well,
chairs?
but I'm a little checked out of the conversation compared to everyone else.
Understood?
Nikos, where are the chairs? Why don't they have chairs?
The pillows are the chairs.
This is not a chair. This is a pillow.
It's a seat.
This is a formal conversation, and my knees are almost touching my chest.
Give me investigation, Tor.
Once I find it, there it is. Nice, a 6.
Yeah, you're just sitting on what seems to be large embroidered pillows. This is odd.
Peter's gonna fully recline side on the chair like you're supposed to. I've seen enough paintings of this.
Hell yeah. Yeah, she kind of silently sits there for a moment, grabs her kind of taller, kind of brass, like, fluted goblet style cup, and drinks down some of the wine and sets it down. Well, I suppose to make this conversation easier without needing the constant need for translation, do any of you perhaps possess magic that would allow freer speech between us?
I can do that to myself, but I can't apply it to others.
Then we will have
Closest
to...
to your people, Nikos. I think you should be the one leading the conversation anyway.
Yeah.
I suppose we will work with the translations then. Mr. Zagros, I understand you then have a proposal that you wish to bring before us, as you were looking for our company. You may start.
Indeed. Well, the British government wanted to make contact with you for presumably help in possibly coming conflicts. I agreed to help just because you're fellow Greeks and I don't want you to be under the boot of the Soviets. However, there are things that, we would appreciate help back in Greece with as well. Italy is trying to restore the Roman Empire and will no doubt come for us at some point.
And of course, the exchange would probably be somewhat mutual. I mean, I can't promise anything, but it goes both ways. The British government isn't stingy all the time.
I did take the time over last night to read on the documents that you all had prepared. There is quite a bit more, it seems, that I have to read on and educate myself, but from what I understand, you all do hail from a British government, and if it means returning to our home and aiding fellow Greeks in a new circumstance, especially should it be against old rivals, then I will speak on behalf of the Amazons. You do have our cooperation and willingness. However, this does bring me to the question of where will we be housed? and what is the situation that we will be called upon to do, as we are lower in numbers and effectiveness than we used to be. I do hope that Greece calling upon us is not overestimating our current military capacity.
Well, they don't really know what your capacity is at all. Once we get there, my mother is the leader of a Greek league, a new Greek league of concerned individuals, one might say. So we would address that once we get back home.
I'm sure your situation will be evaluated and decisions will be made from there. It's hard to promise anything from the front here, of course.
So this is merely a delivery of a message with some amount of promise for a future agreement to be made with, I'm assuming, your mother, the queen of the Greek League?
I wouldn't say queen, more leader, but
She is
If
a
you're-
Zagros, correct?
yes.
And she is not a queen?
No, not a queen, no. We're wealthy, but I wouldn't say we're full royalty.
She has the political power that I feel you would deem necessary.
Understood. Very well then. As you have very adequately displayed your capacity and our ability to put trust in you, I hereby do relinquish our services and reliance upon Wondrous Company to escort us to a safer location so that we may return to Greece for future diplomatic talks with the new Greek League.
In English, Torrin's gonna look at Nikos and go,
Nikos, how the hell do we get them to Greece?
Well,
You're
remember I
supposed to drop the dimension door.
I wrote a letter to my mom with the plane going back with those dragon folk villagers to send a teleportation scroll.
It's like,
Land only south of the plane.
can they handle hundreds?
They will have to send a few more.
Eh,
She's kind of looking between the three of you, not quite sure what you were saying.
so we're simply discussing logistics. It's obviously moving an army to the mountains potentially is a very yeah. Nikos, explain it.
So when we evacuated the village of dragon folk, I sent a letter with them saying when they come back to bring a dimension door scroll or a few. So that's our current plan, to wait for them to arrive and they'll drop it off.
Gives a kind of slower nod and then kind of looks over to the co-captain, whispers a little something, and looks back. So, through magical means, we will move ourselves. I am assuming then that we should have everything properly made for transport through this magical means to get us there.
It would be a wise idea to do so.
When might we expect this arrival to happen?
2 days from when we left, right?
Something
roughly,
like that.
Roughly 2 days. Maybe day and a
That's-
half if they fly pretty hard and fast.
Now-ish? Well, I mean, it's not that long to fly from... Even at 200 miles an hour of planes at the time, it's not that long to fly from Greece to...
Oh yeah, it's not that long of a flight. It's more so once they land there, doing some logistics to inform
They
the
weren't-
OSS.
Yeah,
We're gonna be flying back
dealing
in
with-
there.
Probably telling the OSS, getting like the scroll, dealing with the villagers. So like,
Little bit of logistics, but they'll probably be arriving by your guys' calculations, sometime later this day. At least hopefully.
Sometime today, hopefully.
Kind of looks between you, looks to the co-captain, gives a little bit of a nod, and the co-captain will rise up, give sort of a head nod towards all of you, and will turn about and start walking. She's going to attend to the lower officers and section leaders to begin preparations and wrapping up of the town so that we may easier move when you are ready.
Of course, and we've explained that it's going to be an aircraft, I believe, correct?
I'm unfamiliar.
Are you aware of what a vehicle is? You know, the thing with the wheels and the loud thing, the engine?
Yes.
It's like that. It's more like a bird.
The large sort of flying contraptions that we would occasionally see flying past, but not very often.
Yes, one of those.
That will be dropping to us our means of magical movement?
In theory.
And what if it is unable to bring those means to us?
It's a good question.
Then we'll plan something else.
Gives a little bit of a nod and kind of puts her hands together, kind of rubbing one hand over the other. And these Soviets that I have been able to read your information on, I now understand the threat that they do pose to us. I was unaware that they were going to become so pressing in due time. Is there a known time before we should lose the opportunity to continue evading them?
Do they know of this location yet?
If they do care at all about the maybe few hundred of their soldiers that we have dispatched, they would be wise to assume that we are somewhere within this mountain range.
There was that patrol that we fought earlier.
That was only one among many that we have encountered over the last few months.
They're zeroing in on you.
We were hoping their capacity was limited, as they never seem to send more than a few at a time. I do hope they weren't looking specifically for us in the way that you were, though. But I can't entirely rule out that they weren't.
I think they're probably just looking for any dissidents.
The problem is when you wipe out a patrol, the place that they're supposed to go is documented. When they don't return, obviously that raises red flags. So if you've killed enough of their patrols in this area, then, well, they likely know there's something in this area.
She kind of purses her lips a little bit in words and kind of thinks about it. We have taken quite a few of them, so that would mean we definitely need make haste in what we are doing. Very well then. In any way that we can help to expedite this, do let us know.
Just have everything that you can carry, that you do want to leave within reason. I suppose we're ready to go. One of us was probably going to have to be on flare duty.
Kind of just blankly looks at you, wondering what that means.
Torrance do the little hand wave in the air, then say in English to everyone,
One of us needs to be on flare duty.
Do we think the plane can get over this mountain? Thorin, you should know.
I believe it would, yes, but I assume Torn would also know yes.
Thorn would definitely know. Yeah, it can pass that mountain.
Yes, absolutely. It's just the issue is finding us. I assume we'll hear it, and we have the flares, and of course flares work both ways. So that might give
The
us a
Soviets will no doubt see it.
Remember, they were planning to locate us using one of the dragon folks' location magic. That should take
Yes.
them pretty close to us. And then someone needs to go wherever is up high around here to fire the flare.
One of the highest points, other than being on the peak specifically, would be where we are at now.
I mean, that's high enough.
And if they are using some way to find us, then, or if they have eyes that can spot us, then we should be able to be seen. I will leave it to you and trust that you all know how to conduct this. And again, if you should need any help in any way, do let me know. Again, they're preparing, and I will assume that we will be fully ready to leave with all the possessions that we should need, at least within a couple hours. Is there anything else we can discuss or that you should need help with?
Don't think so. Anything else, I'll say in English to the rest.
Kind of raises her brows after a moment and kind of looks back to the two of you primarily, gives a small nod, and will start to stand up.
Oh wait, one thing.
Hmm?
I forgot.
Mostly because I forgot.
Oh.
Torin is still like sitting there in like a freaking like awkward like toga that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
He's just gonna gesture to that and be like,
You know, something a bit more fitting with pants. You know, like pants.
I will send for someone to acquire something hopefully more fitting of you.
I'm sure your children's clothes will work.
That was actually exactly the thought.
Yeah, just it's not your children's clothes aren't tacky or anything, right? Like you don't do like the bows and it's just like reasonable clothing, right?
No, it's rather practical and made more so for training rather than leisurely.
Oh, thank goodness. All right, that'll be great. Thank you.
Very well, I will send for that for you, of course. Should there be anything else before we conclude our meeting?
Don't think so.
Very well then, I will take my leave and send for that clothing. Obviously, you're free to roam where you wish within reason, but I do ask that you be accessible via the rooms that you have been sleeping in so that we can find you a bit quicker and easier should we need you in a haste.
Of course.
All right.
Very well. Thank you. She'll fully stand up, turn, and kind of walk away as you hear the door kind of open up and two of the other half-armored Amazons will kind of step in, and she'll whisper something to one of them who will turn and go running out the door to go fetch, assumedly the clothes for Torn, before she'll
Who's
retire
not
and
me?
make her way up the staircase.
Going to be waiting on the roof.
You're gonna...
Torin's probably gonna join Peter in the roof waiting.
Alright. Yeah, you guys realize this is kind of towards the center of the town. It's a little ways away from the little mini stadium. And it is, unironically, the tallest building within this bowl in the mountain range. The only higher points would be the actual peak itself, but everything to the left and right of the peak is just the gradual downslope that leads to this bowl in the side of the mountain. So unless you actually were to get up in one of those areas, this would be the best area to be able to see. Once you guys get up there, you got a pretty good line of sight. Give me perception, the two of you.
I'll probably be helping, like, the Amazons gather stuff.
Alright.
Nice.
Perception and perception. Ooh.
Nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys get up there and become a freaking sniper spotter team. You're able to pick out certain areas of the ridgeline. You're able to see where certain parts of snow have broken. You can make out exactly the 3 different paths that they take to leave the bowl and descend down the mountain, or specifically where they descend through a cave system that empties out at the base of the mountain. But this bowl that you're set in, it's the perfect size and shape and distance that, unless you are actually unironically in a plane, you're not going to be able to see into it. Like, unless you're actually on the bowl or the peak itself, you're not going to be able to see into it or realize that there is a town inside there. So it's definitely going to be reliant on the plane passing over this ridgeline. But you guys will be able to hang out there for a while, kind of get cozy, start figuring out the rough paths and angles that they'll likely be taking. Them obviously being a very experienced pilot crew, they know how to conduct various search and rescue, so they should be able to spot you if they take a pretty obvious path. Yeah, Nikos, you're able to find your way out and start assisting with some of the packaging. They're packing up some wagons, doing a lot of the older clay pot and kind of straw baskets and packing that with various items, gathering what important stuff they can. They're not bringing everything, but they are bringing a good chunk of their livelihood, which you come to realize isn't really that much overall. As they start to amass it and organize it, doing full roll calls and collections and figuring this out, almost setting up like a large motor pool in the very center of the town, with the little wagons stacked up and everything getting accounted for. You're able to figure out there's about 300 and change in total, minus the handfuls that are still out in the perimeter or at the cave entrances pulling security. You're looking at about 300 and change here. We'll pan on over to the kitchen.
A note before that.
Oh.
That Arcana was for the spyglass that Torin is obviously using while I'm looking for things.
You're busting out the spyglass.
Yeah.
Alright.
You can hold that if you want, but that is
yeah, we could do that.
Over 18 roll.
We could do that. Where specifically are you looking?
I assume just scanning the ridgeline.
Just scan the ridgeline specific? Alright. As uneventful as this might seem, you're scanning the ridgeline for a while, and the telescope does that little bit of an aperture change and zooms in a bit, and you see through your left eye, obviously, the normal ridgeline and bowl up around you. The occasional gust of wind blowing some snow and a little bit of a swirl. But through the monocle, yeah, the ridgeline seems a little bit taller, a little bit harder packed with snow, a little bit more covered over. And as you're trailing along it, just kind of checking, you don't really see anything that sticks out, other than what seems to be a much more dense, hard-packed snow, and where the mountains seem to be at least a little bit taller along this ridgeline of this bowl that you guys are reseated in. However, damn, yeah, that 22, okay. As you're scanning, you do see what looks like a singular silhouette that is eventually joined by another, and then a third one, as they're walking, kind of digging what looks like large walking sticks, perhaps spears, into the snow, as they're stepping up it roughly. And the three of them, although you got the magnifying glass, are still at a distance to where they're maybe about an inch tall. You can't quite make out their forms as they seem to be very bundled and wrapped up in a lot of cloth. However, as they're standing there, the three of them kind of leaning on the walking sticks or spears, kind of looking to each other. One of them points outwards, another one kind of points down into the bowl. One of them gives kind of a pat on the back to the other. Two of them give each other a small hug before they kind of stand there and seem to be a little thankful at whatever they're looking at down inside the bowl before turning and starting to walk their way back down as their silhouettes disappear on the opposite side of the slope heading back down the mountain.
New beginnings.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright. Yeah, you guys are hanging out up there. We'll get back to the clothes that are delivered to you in a moment. Leroy, you're escorted towards the kitchen. It is a large, almost kind of open air sort of, how do I say, kind of like a large overhang area attached to the outside, almost like a large porch, with a lot of the tiles on the roof part of the porch kind of overhang. Got a couple brick ovens, couple of the older style open air ovens, and what seems to be a lot of, not a lot, but a mix of limited ground grown vegetables, a handful of onions, some potatoes, what seems to be some beets, a few little bits of like ground grown greens, but not very much in the realm of vegetables. Pretty much no fruit whatsoever aside from what seems to be a couple lemons, and a lot of meat preparation. As you're able to walk in, you see that there's three Amazons kind of standing there wrapping up the food that they prepped for you guys earlier, and they all kind of look over to you.
Now, as I was saying, it's really important. You're on the right track with the meat. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with having meat in your belly, but that meat can go a lot further if you have some greens, if you have some herbs, some spices, something to really jazz it up, really gets the palate going, and it'll help keep, it'll help the flavor will stay in the long run. And oh my Jesus, what is this? And then he just kind of sees a ton of meat and not much else. It's like
The three of them kind of look to you.
He's gonna give him a bit of a withering look. Something wrong with y'all. Y'all need Jesus.
The three of them look to you, look you up and down, kind of cock their head a little bit, and what seems to be the one in the center of the room looks over to the others with just the most arched feminine brow possible, and they both just give sort of a questioning shrug as she looks back to you and says something in Greek that you don't quite understand.
I don't care what your great grandma told you. This is not how this works. I'm gonna take my hat off and hang it on one of their spears and say, "Where's an apron? There's an apron around here. So someone give me an apron. And I kind of pantomime, an apron that you put over to keep your clothes clean."
They're kind of looking at you. They're having to try to read what you're conveying, and one of them turn after a moment, walk to a little bitty kind of side pantry of sorts, and pull out what seems to be a almost like a metalworker's apron that's obviously been stripped down a bit, and they kind of hold that out questioningly.
Yeah, that'll work. I mean, grumble. Just kind of grumbling to myself, putting the apron on. It'll do in a pinch. But yeah, let's talk about what you got here. Clearly, y'all dropped the ball somewhere between Yuma and Tacoma. So, what we got here is a lot of meat and not a lot of veggies, not a lot of fruit. You need both. You need greens. Greens are good for you. I'm just exasperated. Just like.
As you're kind of looking this over, the three are just kind of looking to you as you're able to catch a corner of the glance that the three of them look to the one hoplite that showed you in, and You don't see it behind your head, but you get the idea that the hoplite motioned or mouthed something like probably humor him, because they all give like that kind of okay nod before they all look to you and just kind of step in and are trying to seem attentive before you hear the hoplite walk out. As she walks out, you see crossing by the door to the kitchen area a couple people carrying baskets and seeming to start to pack stuff up outside.
All right, so I'm just gonna give y'all an example because clearly I'm not getting through to you. You can't understand a word I'm saying. I can't understand a word y'all say. So I'm gonna show you. So
She kind of
if you do
interrupts
per-
just a little bit and points to a couple onions hanging and asks something about it, looking kind of questioning.
Yeah, onions good. I'll get to that. I'll hold up a finger and just like one moment, and then I point. You know, it's like, is there a chair in this kitchen? Is there a chair in
She'll
this?
see you raise a finger, reach up, twist and break off one of the onions from the kind of bushel and hand it out to you.
And I just kind of look to the heaven like, dear sweet baby Jesus, help me.
She kind of retracts it back a little bit, like, do you not want the onion?
Okay, so I'm gonna do a perception roll. I'm looking for a chair in this kitchen.
All right.
An investigative roll even. I'm looking for a chair in
Give
this
me
kitchen.
investigation. We'll see if you can spot a chair.
And I'm looking for herbs and spices. Just give me a roll down depending on how I do this here.
Give me a investigation for a chair, some rope, and the strongest girder. No. 12. Alright. Yeah, you look around, you get the notion pretty quickly from what you've seen of the town so far. They don't really operate with the idea of chairs among the Amazons.
Okay. Alright. How am I doing on the spices and herbs side of things?
Looking around for the spice and herbs, you find some small little mound in a wooden box of bay leaves. You find a little bit of shriveled, pretty sad, like, what's that green, flaky stuff that you throw on a plate to make it look pretty? Is like a food, parsley. And then what seems to be some very thick, coarse, like, ground up salt, and what might be paprika, but it's red and orangish.
And I know you mentioned lemons. That's great. Well, we'll hold to that. So I'm going to point at her. I'm going to point next to the grill or whatever they're using to cook their meat. And I'm just gonna be insistently looking at her, pointing at her, pointing like, come here, just get right here.
She'll
Come here.
kind of like onion in hand still kind of steps over and looks to you and just kind of looking between your hands and your face like, okay.
All right, I'm gonna grab. I don't know what we've got for utensils here. If I'm just cooking on a grill or if I'm cooking over a
Knives,
spit.
blades, and what seems to be a sort of shish kebab skewer. There doesn't seem to be forks or spoons.
All right, cool. No, that works. So, gonna grab a hunk of meat and start rubbing it. I'm just, look at her, look at me, and I'm doing the eye routine, like, pointing at my eyes, pointing at her eyes, pointing at what I'm doing. It's like, watch. So, start rubbing down the meat, salt. Take a little bit. Take one of the lemons, cut it open, zest it on top, and then just prepping it, and then skewering it, taking the onion from her, cleaning it up, skewering it on top. Throw one of the bay leaves on there. It's not gonna get eaten.
Teaching him
But-
pops.
But I'm sprucing it up a little bit because that's that poorly salted bear meat. I ain't gonna cut it. I'm sorry. I don't know. An army marches on its belly, and when it's marching on poor fare, it ain't gonna march very well. Sorry.
This is the source of all the problems we've observed with the Amazons.
They just didn't have a good chef.
You didn't have good food.
Lack of an appropriate logistics trail.
And so while it's sitting on the grill cooking, I'm gonna grab the other onion.
Alright.
I'm gonna grab the lemon, and I'm gonna hold it up between us so she sees that I'm emphasizing with it. You see this right here? You, this is pitiful. This is pitiful. You need more. You need more of this. So you take this, and I point at the ground, and it's like, there's no dirt, right? But I'm pantomiming. Take this. You stick it in the ground. Sprinkle some water or whatever. Let it grow into a big plant. And I'm pantomiming a lot with my hands
She
here. Like,
reaches over, grabs one of the other lemons off the table, looks at you making like the pantomiming, like, make more lemons. We need more lemons. She translates this as more lemons, grow more lemons. And she looks back to one of the others, murmurs something, they step away, come walking back, and you get the notion that they just plucked completely clean, like, the 2 lemon bushes that they had, as they got a basket of what looks like maybe a week too early picked lemons, about 20 of them or so, and kind of steps up looking to you like, is this what you want?
I'm just dead-eyeing my screen right now. Just like... and breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera like...
I can feel it. I can hear it.
And seriously contemplate. They can probably see that there is a ladle or knife or whatever, and I'm kind of white knuckling the handle, just like, give me strength. Give me strength. Beat you with the flat end of this blade.
They seem concerned and like not really sure what you're suggesting or hinting at. They're trying their best, but they don't know what's going on.
You know those cartoon scenes where the chef has just had it and
Yeah.
it shows a frack. It pans to an outside view of the kitchen, and all of a sudden the building just kind of loses its foundational integrity.
Yeah.
And you get all you just get the idea that there's a full blown fracas going on because the chef has lost his mind and is making the shit out of his hired help.
The camera goes.
Yeah, that's what's going on right now.
Give me a charisma save.
So not to meta or anything, but don't you carry your own spices, Leroy?
He's right.
I left them in my room. Fuck you.
You're gonna be able to keep your composure, but it's definitely testing your bardic cooking patience. But there is a small.
My monocle has fallen from my eye. To hang from my lapel.
There's a small amount of you that is able to kind of sympathize and understand that they're working with what little bit they have and are able to grow.
Alright, so am I rolling for this meal prep to see how it...
Yeah. Give me some meal prep rolls, and let's see if you can prepare a shish kebab meat and onion limited
Shish kebab,
salted lemon
cockroaches.
cook.
Salt, lemon, and bay leaf with onion. Yeah, sounds about right.
I was just yearning for the scenes like, ladies, cinnamon.
I believe you have
So what-
cooking tools or cooking
so
utensils
white
as
sticks.
a item.
Oh yeah, that too. Artisanal tools.
Yeah. Alright. With them watching as a Gordon Ramsay yelling at a bunch of people that don't speak English, you're able to show them how to cook this and how to do it. You even take the time to bend a little bit of wire to make like a rack that you're able to push into the, almost like a large pizza oven type deal, almost like a chimney, and you're able to set the couple wooden dowels on that to cook it, and you're able to like rotate it, and it's a nice little process over a while. Before you're able to take it out, set it there, run them off of the skewers, and like start cutting it, slicing it, preparing it, or however you make it, as you get what seems to be a 2.5, 3 dishes of basically as nice as possible made shish kebabs. With that 16, it's gonna be better than anything they've really eaten for at least the last couple years. As the 3 of them are just kind of looking to the food and looking to you a little questioningly, as they're gotten the general notion of what you've shown them, and they seem to be trying to take it to mental note of how to do that again.
no more of this poorly salted bear meat, whatever the fuck that thing was. You're gonna eat proper, and you're gonna appreciate it. Your body's gonna appreciate it. And if I catch you doing it again, and I grab a ladle, I'm gonna beat you over the head with like threatening gestures like that. You know, and hold up my thumb like very good, making very good faces, right? And saying no, no more of this other bullshit, and then waving the ladle threateningly at them, just to beat you.
Please note that the southern gentleman standing at 5'11", 6 foot if he's not slouching, is pointing a empty wooden ladle upwards at 3 6'6" to 6'8" Amazonian women that are yoked out, who are slightly shrinking back a little bit, unsure why he's scolding them, but getting a general idea of how he is scolding them. They get the general idea, and they're kind of looking to the food.
Done, put the ladle down, rub my hands together. Who wants to get laid?
They kind of are looking towards the food and then looking towards you again. Not sure at all what you're saying.
No, I'm not going to do the hip thrust. I thought about it, but
Standing there, fucking hip thrusting in the kitchen.
hip thrusting wearing a leather worker's apron, and no hat because the hat's still hanging from an Amazonian spear.
They're just kind of looking to you as they're like waiting for the next instruction or what to do.
All right. Well, I just take the ladle. I point at the cook and I point at the fire, and it's like, your turn. You do what I just did. You do it.
She'll kind of look to the other two,
Beat you if you
gives
get it wrong.
a little bit of a nod, and they'll kind of skirt past you and start taking some of the remaining lemons and food and stuff and start preparing it as close to as you did.
Someone's gonna get whacked on the ass with a wooden ladle if they screw up.
Give me perception as you Gordon Ramsay supervise the Amazons. Yeah, they seem to be doing everything right. When you're not getting distracted by, wow, this is a nifty spoon, or, yeah, they make their way around. They're getting kind of tired and hurried because they're feeling a little bit nervous. Like, okay, why is this guy here? Why is he like scolding us and being allowed to scold us? The queen, I guess, said he could, so we can't question it. They do prepare some food after a little while. Some of the skewers. The plate isn't quite as nice, and you can tell there's a little bit of extra salt than you may have used, but they're able to bring the plate and set it down and kind of look to you as they take a couple steps back.
And I look at it, taste it, it's okay.
A little salty.
Look at them, and nod a little bit. Tell them to come here, point at it, try it, try what they made.
She'll step forward. They each take a couple of the strips from it and chew on it for a little bit, kind of nodding a little.
Okay. Pointing with the ladle, pointing at their face. You do it like that every time. Every time. Every time. No more fuck-ups. No more fucking around. I'm going to kick you out of this kitchen and cook for your whole fucking family.
They give a little bit of a understanding nod before one of them seems to quietly speak up something that you don't understand. As the three of them look over and you realize they are now entirely out of salt and lemons.
Yeah,
and
more lemon trees.
You see them kind of shrink a little bit.
Well, you better take some to the queen before she gets mad that she's not going to have any salted bear haunch for dinner.
Give me a persuade. Not persuasion.
You can't do shit with this because of the language barrier.
Performance?
Performance. Give me performance, yeah. To convey, take this to the queen. Yeah, it's barely enough. They get barely the idea after being a mime for a little bit of like, oh, okay. And two of them will take the couple plates and will hurry off with it. One of them almost just fucking eats shit as they plow into another one that's got the what seems to be a basket of like alcohols of some sort going down the hallway.
I'm gonna sigh and mutter barbarians under my breath.
As
Rude.
If a 10 is convincing them, they're barbarians. That's their class. God damn it.
10 is normally socially acceptable as far as D&D goes, whether it's stats or rolls. 10 is like what your normal person is capable of.
Leroy missed a chance to get laid with his spice collection.
Yeah.
No, the day's not done yet.
I'm telling you, dude, one dash of cinnamon and it's all over.
As
Trust me, I haven't cooked for the queen yet. I've only cooked for her foot soldiers.
they'll make their way out and eventually deliver the food to the queen. You'll eventually be shown by the hoplite who holds your hat out to you and will eventually show you back towards the bedrooms, unless of course you wish to go somewhere else.
No, I'll just make small talk all the way. She won't understand a thing I'm saying.
Well,
Outside my room, I'll
They're
fondly
standing
pat
like
her
that,
on
but-
the ass, tell her good job, and go into my room.
Give me a deck save. Alright, you avoid it, but the brass blunt end of a hoplite spear that you're fairly familiar can do damage when it needs to, thanks to Nikos. Yeah, it makes a nice little barely visible divot in the door as it passes behind your head, and just not aggressively, but it's like that sort of like pop, like they were trying to catch you as the door closes behind you. We'll pan on over. Nico's helping out, doing some work. You did spot Leroy walking and talking one of their ears off as he headed back towards the rooms. Assumedly, Hachu, I'm guessing, is either helping out or heading back to the rooms. Hachu, to kind of summarize the vibes you're getting, they seem hesitant around you. Not so much specifically because you're you, or specifically because of your color palette, but just your general aura. They seem a little hesitant around, but not aggressive. But they're largely just kind of keeping a little bit of distance around you. We'll pan on over to Peter and Torin. A little while later, you do hear a couple steps, a couple footsteps coming up the staircase as they get to the rooftop. And holding out to you is one of the Amazons with what seems to be a bundle of clothes for you, Torin.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
She gives a bit of a
kinda
nod
breezy up
and
here.
steps back and kind of looks between the two of you if you should request anything else.
Wine? For Peter, wine?
Does
Or a little bit would be fine.
Wine, yes.
She'll give a nod and turn and make her way down to go fetch some wine for you guys. As you unfold the bundle of clothes and look at it, you realize it is a kind of hand-sewn, sort of slightly off-white, old school shirt that has the stitch lines going down the left and right, like the wide stitch lines. Almost kind of like kids' field working clothes, or like kind of the looser fitting poncho style t-shirts. What you would picture like a serf might be wearing, maybe, but it functions as a shirt. As far as the pants, there's no pants. You get what seems to be a somewhat thicker sash that the middle of the sash has a couple of the leather kind of armor skirt slats hanging from it. And you're able to kind of figure out that, oh, I put it to my back and tie it, and it's basically a 80% minus the very front center kind of Greek or Roman style armor leather slats that hang down, the armored skirts. And then what seems to be two very loose kind of Greek style sandals.
Oh!
What the Tried to shit one out over there? God damn.
Perhaps in future, you should pack more than one pair of pants.
I just, this is a skirt.
It's a kilt, my lady.
There's no front to it. My balls are gonna hang out.
I didn't know kobolds had balls.
Also,
Depends on the
didn't your
race.
pants survive?
Sorta. They're like
Sort of.
shorts.
Yeah.
They're like fucking castaway shorts.
Were they mendable?
Given half of them were gone, I don't know.
The
In
amount
both
of damage that a lot of the
Hey.
items took, specifically from draconic acid, it's not exactly mendable. It's why your coat and especially Wilhelm's coat are just kind of roughed up. Even Nikos' breastplate has two kind of noticeable divots that are gonna be have to manually be repaired at some point in time. The acidic damage isn't a quick and easy like, oh, it got torn, let me fix it. It's a little more
Can I at
extensive.
least mend it to the point where it's actual shorts?
It'll be a little frayed, but you'll be able to kind of curl it. Yeah, it'll be yeah, you can make them into
There
shorts.
we go.
It'll be shorts.
You can wear the shorts under your skirt, like every high school girl I've ever met.
Torin's gonna pass the time by like trying to like sew this toga into like a pair of pants. There's enough fabric there.
I will note this is one of those togas that hang down about to knee level, specifically on you. And it's like a skirt, however, it gets to the midsection and it turns into that like singular sash where it bunches up and goes over the left shoulder and down the back. It's that style of toga. If you want to try to cut it and modify it, I'm gonna need a...
No, he's just gonna go with the toga. Those clothes that they brought are fucking atrocious. He's not gonna be seen in those.
You look like a Greek child.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, no, he's just gonna set them aside and defeat and keep rocking the toga life, I suppose.
Alright.
Well, I tried.
We'll be able to fast forward after a little while. After a little bit longer, you get the notion that the Amazon had to go down and open up one of the baskets while they were doing a kind of head count, grab one of the taller flasks of wine, and walk it up to you both with 2 cups in hand as well, and kind of holds it out to you, Torn.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Gives a nice short nod and kind of looks over towards the clothes that they brought up. Kind of looks back to you. Seems to not really think anything of it and turns quickly and starts walking down the stairs.
I'm presuming the wine's already properly diluted.
No.
Now we need water. And also cups.
You
I'll
do,
shoot
have,
back up.
you do have cups, but nah, this is like hardcore chunks of grape and stuff still floating in it.
This wine's a little thick.
Supposed to dilute it. It's supposed to be something like 5 parts water to 1 part wine. Pretty sure it says that. Like, this is me out of character. I'm pretty sure that's brought up in the Bible at one point.
If I'm not mistaken, you are correct. I think I
Because
recall
it's-
something like that.
It wasn't like a commandment. That's actually how the ancient world did wine.
Well, we've got water up here.
You have
Yeah.
wine concentrate.
That's literally how it was done.
Because it was just straight up hardcore grapes.
I also remember. I think it's in Herodotus. He mentions that one particular island was considered drunkards because they would do 3 parts water to 1 part wine.
I live at a 1.3% alcohol level at 24 hours of the day.
While they're pouring out and diluting the wine, Torrent's gonna draw himself out a lucky strike and offer Peter one.
I'll turn
Give
it
me
down.
a perception roll as you do that.
A 9.
You take out the little lucky strikes. You kind of tap it a little bit, kind of awkwardly try to pinch one and pull it out, and you realize as you pull the one good one out, a couple shreds of tobacco fall out. As you kind of hold it up and let the sunlight hit the front side of it, you realize 6 of the 12 have been destroyed by what seems to be a drop of acid that fell through half of the pack.
Got me again. Got me again.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna sit there drinking wine and fucking smoking a lucky strike. In a toga.
In a toga. Toga towards smoking and drinking wine on the rooftop. That's an image.
Do we have any very very slowly drinking the wine? Peter's going to ensure you're not like chugging it down.
No, he's not.
Just making sure. Do we see anything coming? Hear anything?
We will do a little bit of a speed up of time. As all of you guys will kind of attend to and see to what you're doing. Eventually, we'll fast forward to a little bit later in the day. The entire town and every citizen and what needed items they have is kind of Exodus with Moses style, packed and ready to go like a large wagon train prepared to move out. All the carts are set, everything's accounted for and inventoried, and they're currently just standing by, kind of waiting.
This was my home.
Oh no, we got Torrent's cover of that, trust me. They're able to recall in the couple patrols on the perimeter as they're able to come in and get briefed up. As they're all kind of standing by in a large group, the queen seems to be speaking to them. As the entirety of the party, all of you are able to get onto the rooftop where you guys will have a little bit of time to sit down, drink some of the remainder of the wine while you wait and continue to search for whenever the plane may be arriving. Unless you guys got a conversation you would like to do, I would like a perception check from everybody.
Torin looks up from trying
Does
to
that include me? I thought it was still in my room.
Nope, that'll be
trying
you
to
as well.
salvage that tobacco with like book pages or something.
Fran trying to catch all the tobacco he's dropping on the ground.
Peter, Bible pages work really well. You know, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna fucking slap you.
I deserve that one. But the page at the back doesn't do anything.
As you are trying to have this argument, you realize looking at the
I have a study
tobacco,
Bible.
looking at the tobacco that you're, attempting to recover. You see when acid touches it, it kind of destroys the entirety of the cigarette. This is like using a butane lighter on a nice cigar, and then thinking that you can clip it halfway and smoke it again and not just get shit rocked by butane inside the tobacco after the first time because you lit it like an uncultured person.
That's why there was a crit fail. He's individually picking out every good leaf of tobacco
Oh.
in his balance.
Yeah, you're trying your best to recover this, and it's not happening. Yeah, Thor's just there trying to do that, while the rest of you are looking out. Peter, you're distracted and distraught by the concept of using a page of your Bible to, roll cigarettes, as Torrin's starting to almost look like he's going through a very casual, like, regression of, like, okay, really? Are the cigarettes that important to you? You're almost kind of distracted by that. Mikos and Leroy, though, and assumingly Hachu until you're able to actually roll, no worries. We'll assume you're up there hanging out with them as well. Nikos and Leroy, you guys are able to look out, kind of being the two just outward-looking members of the party. Leroy's the only one that spots it, as you see what looks like a kind of War Thunder-style black spot in the distance. that slowly grows a bit closer and starts to approach around to the south, slowly making a very wide kind of orbit, and then slowly hits the edge of the mountain range as far as you can see, and starts to casually start flying over closer and closer. And with that 20 perception, you're able to realize that is a very, very shiny silver aircraft. Not many people have shiny silver aircraft like you guys do. And you're able to quickly demise 2-engine shiny silver airplane transport. That must be your plane. Or 4-engine.
Four-engine.
It was a 4-engine. You are correct. I stand corrected. I was
I think
picturing
he
the
needs
fucking
drinks.
DC. Soak them in holy oil first. Oh my god.
Hey guys, I think that's all right coming.
You start to hear a casual hum as in the
Oh.
distance you hear those loud ass engines starting to approach and quickly climbing over. You can see the plane occasionally doing a kind of list to the right, and a little bit of a list to the left, assumedly looking outwards trying to see what they can spot as it gets close enough to be within visual range that you can all pretty well identify it is your plane.
We're popping the flare.
If only Wilhelm was here, we could send Torin up. They'd see Torin clear as day.
Who has the flare?
Gotta be either me or Torin.
Whichever one of you is carrying the aeronautic flare. It's the old tube style that has the little flanged lip on the bottom that you flip and it fires upwards. Whichever one of you is carrying it, give me a dexterity check.
I believe Pieta took it.
Give me dex check,
The
Peter.
question is, would you have been holding on to it, logging it the whole time we're just hanging out on top of the roof? Is a weapon, technically.
I don't know. I think he was too entranced with the cigarettes.
Yeah, he probably handed it off to you if he's
All right.
focused on those.
9. Mostly up.
Mostly up. Little bit of a side angle, but thankfully it's one of those slower dropping ones. As you raise it up, fires up, goes off, slowly starts to drop a little bit. If it stayed alight long enough, it would drop pretty much on the opposite rim of the bowl that you're in. However, the plane continues flying overhead, tilting a little left, tilting a little right, keeps hanging right, tilts a little further right, and at one point is going completely, the wings are completely vertical before you see it level out, and then gives 2 tilts left rapidly as it continues overhead and circles past. You lose sight of it for a few minutes. A few more minutes.
Anybody saw us?
More minutes.
I hope so.
Man, did you see that maneuver? That was like 2 Gs. Why would he do that if he hadn't seen us?
See anything chasing the plane?
Ah, nothing seems to stick out. You kind of lost the sound of the engines. And then, after a couple more minutes, almost starting to wonder what happened, you hear that nice in front of the engine's hum, and passing maybe 15 feet over the edge of the rim, kicking up snow and swirling it behind each of the engines as it does, comes banking over the top, turns completely, just pivots sideways, and you see the side door that you guys normally load into open up, and a arm leans out of it and just fucking football hucks what seems to be a metal canister downwards as the plane continues overhead, sharply banks left, curls around, goes inverted, and then dives down over the opposite side of the bowl and disappears over the rim.
Show off!
Give me investigation to keep track of where that cylinder goes.
Ah!
15.
And
show off as they pull the Top Gun maneuver to fucking football a canister at you.
19.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to talk with them. That plane is not meant for inverted flight.
All of you needed a 10 or above as you're all able to kind of look up, focus on the plane, realize, oh, he dropped something. Look back at it. Give me a moment. Eeny, meeny, miny, D6. Leroy, give me a deck save.
Oh, you mother.
Leroy, very casually but a little bit hurried, is able to scoot his right leg back just in time as the somewhat softer roof of this mostly marble building just gets spiked and chips off as the metal canister lands, bounces upwards and bounces off one of the perimeter walls and rolls back towards you guys, kind of coming to a stop in the middle of all of you.
I was expecting a little parachute or something.
Wow. How about that? Right to us.
Huh.
Not bad.
Let's see what's inside this thing.
Take the canister, and it's a pretty straightforward. Looks like it was maybe a 155 shell that had a cap screwed onto it, perhaps.
Nice.
You're able to twist off the cap, kind of tilt it, and you see 2 scrolls come rolling out of it.
What are these scrolls?
2 about 1 foot wide scrolls that seem to be, judged by looking at them from the side, how they're rolled up. Maybe about 2 feet tall and about a foot wide. And both of them have a very nice, fancy twine wrapped around the middle of them. And what seems to be, and give me investigation as you look at these, Torn.
I rolled Arcana. Should I roll Investigation?
Arcana works too, actually, because you are identifying a magical doodad. You look at the seals, and you get a very similar, these are magical seals, sealing a spell within these scrolls.
I wonder where I've seen this before.
Where have you seen this before? Give
Any
me,
indication of strength or like?
give me another investigation, Torn, as you're holding the canister and these 2 scrolls in hand. Not
wait.
intimidation, investigation. There we go.
My bad.
Oh, good. It saved you, actually.
No, let's wait and see. Oh.
Yeah.
You hear a slight tink rattle inside the shell casing still.
I don't know. We're gonna shake out whatever's in there.
A small little bitty, what looks like kind of square-shaped stone comes rolling out and lands on the ground.
I'd like to think he'd catch it coming out, maybe. Not like just let it fall on the ground. That's not nice.
You kind of catch it and it lands on top of the 2 scrolls and you got the little cube in your hand. It's like a 1/4 inch thick and then like 1 inch by 1 inch sort of block.
Would I know what this is?
No, it just seems to be a little rock that seems to have some nice chisels and shapes in it that don't seem to really denote anything in specific.
It's a rock.
I don't know what this is.
Nikos, what is this?
Take a look at it.
Give me Arcana, Nikos.
Take a look. It's in a book.
If you had to take a gander,
Oh.
if you had to take a gander, it might be a message stone.
A message stone, I think.
I should know what that is in character.
They're usually a bit larger and usually work 2 ways. This one is a lot smaller.
You're a resident bookworm. You're supposed to know everything.
Someone, magic, turn it on.
Where's the remote?
I'll take it and I don't know. I've never used one of these, so I don't know how it works.
Think really hard about who you want to talk to.
Yeah.
Tell me how you trying to make it
Hello?
work. What are you doing with it?
Uther?
Just try to think. I'm like, hello?
Try open sesame.
Hello?
Just kind of holding it in
Open
your hand,
sesame?
speaking to it. Doesn't seem to do anything.
No.
Open sesame.
Try it in Greek.
I'll start talking in Greek.
Open sesame in Greek.
Where's the other one?
What was that, Hachi? Came through a little bit muffled. Yeah, you speak to it in Greek. Doesn't seem to react or do anything. You just kind of got it in your palm. You get a semblance that there is magic in it, but it doesn't seem to be reacting.
No.
Sorry, I unmuted myself in the pocket, so I just kind of
Oh, good.
I'm trying to get home as fast as I can. I gotta pick up some stuff before I get there. Of course I do.
Do your thing, man. Tis all good. Everyone give me a intelligence roll. Of the four of you. Oof.
Ooh, 8. Rough.
Oh! Damn! Damn!
Oh, that's a save. Oops.
Close enough. It's still a nat 20. I'll take it. Peter and Nikos, you're kind of like, I mean, it's if it's a magic stone, then should be able to talk into it or something. Maybe it plays a message. Thor and Leroy, you guys kind of look to each other for a moment, look back at it.
We say the same exact thing at the same time.
You'll say it at the same time as it dawns on both of you. Put it to your ear.
Wait, I like. It's like we look at each other. It's like a telephone.
Oh.
Did we just become best friends?
No.
Probably not.
Torn,
I'll bring it to my ear.
Torn, I put my balls on your bar. Don't you dare put your balls on my bar.
Jesus. Torin is absolutely like mooshing the side of his head to like Nico's hand. He's taking the other side of it. Like
As the both of you kind of mash this little stone in between your heads, you can hear coming through the rock and kind of into your heads. Hello, I haven't used one of these in a fair while. Hello, son. Hello, everyone. I have to try to record this, so I hope that it works properly. I have accompanied 2 scrolls of mass teleportation. Now, I haven't used them to this extent before, and also they informed me that these ones are rather strong. So, what you need to do is make sure you open the scroll and activate it by channeling some magic through it. So likely one of your friends or Nikos, if you should feel you can do so yourself, you need to channel some magic into the scroll. This will then activate the spell, which will be roughly a 30-foot area in all directions from the scroll. This will cause a sort of bowl that will then move everything inside said bowl to a predetermined location. We have used the south fields outside of your secondary study manor, and it will teleport all of it.
That'll work.
In case the first one doesn't work, we have included a second just in case. We will have people at the ready for the next few days. We've also been able to indulge with your new friends that you sent us. They're, after bridging the language gap, they're rather pleasant and actually have quite a bit of knowledge and information that's been rather helpful. But we will,
That's good.
look forward to your arrival, and I will hopefully be seeing you soon.
All right.
And you hear the stone kind of shake and the magic stops.
Click.
Like,
Click.
The classic sound of a 70s plastic cell phone, like fucking being hung up.
Oh god.
all right.
30 feet. Can we fit 300 Amazons in a 30-foot sphere?
I can fit an Amazon in my bed.
But the what? This is a logistics
Well, I
and
suppose we'll have to
transportation.
try. We do
Oh,
have
you
2
do
of
it.
them.
I'm always down to share my quarters. You know, my hammock.
Aren't you the logistics guy? Shouldn't you be able to know how many people we can fit into a 30-foot circle?
The square goes in the circle hole.
Maybe we use multiple levels where they can all. I mean, they can climb on each other, right? I think that'd work.
No, I'm sure they can clam on each other just fine.
What? You said that
I
with a
don't think
weird
we should
tone.
go there.
I mean, I'm sure they can climb on each other fine too, but it's the way you
Oh,
said
climb.
it.
Sorry, sorry. I heard you say something else.
What?
Moving on.
Leroy, your next roll is at disadvantage, whatever it may be. You guys hear a little bit of clamoring underneath and beside the building as some of them are talking while amassed in the center of the town. They seem to be rather enamored and surprised by the insane flight maneuver of that giant gray thing that just blew overhead at thundering loudness.
I'm gonna get on it.
EM, how many can we fit in one circle?
I will say, as long as you successfully channel it, you will be able to fit all of them and the accompanying wagons and carts in both uses, including yourselves in the first or second use. However, you will have to successfully do both. So,
Torin is still taking out that length of paracord he has, and he's going to make sure it's 30 foot.
alright.
Or maybe 15. Yeah, no, 15, yeah. He's going to get a 15-foot
I'd say
of rope.
30. That way we have a diameter. Full
Well, yeah,
diameter
but
instead of having
he's
a
gonna
full
get the radius. He's gonna do the nail in the ground and like do a fucking circle with it.
So it's not 30 foot in total, it's 30 foot in all directions from the
Oh.
location of the... So it's technically 60 feet across.
It's way bigger. How large is this structure?
The structure you're in currently is maybe 100 by 80 feet and about 2.5 stories tall. The area that they're currently occupying, maybe a solid 120 by 60 feet plaza.
Dude, how badass would it be to just to bring the whole Queen's fucking manor back?
Most of it, maybe.
Who do we want to channel the magic?
You or Hachu maybe?
Well, I would say Hachu, but, you know, he's indisposed, out of character.
Hachu is being utilized to help carry something or like lift a wagon at
Yeah.
the moment, along with Wilhelm, whose super strong cannon is working as a jack stand for a broken wagon wheel.
It's, the cannon itself is a horse, like acting as a horse.
Yeah, this little bitty crawler is just pulling a wagon behind it.
All right. Have the queen assemble people.
Yep.
And me and Nikos. Nikos, do you want to go in? Well, we have to go in separate groups. I should take Thorin with me in case something happens, and I need someone who can speak Greek.
Good idea.
That's a very good point. I'm gonna go drop big circles in the dirt out down there.
He's
I'll
off
be
to do
back.
that. You should take Leroy with you. That way, Thorin and Leroy are together.
Smart.
Now I say that as you're
Oh,
like
okay.
walked away.
Goodness. Yeah, you're able to measure this out, and once you spend a little time, they see what you're doing and they get the idea as they're able to kind of layer like Western wagon wheel style, the carts and wagons with the persons in the center of it. Kind of tighter packed, but with a couple foot area open space where the scroll will be able to be laid out. They are able to fit within these two large drawn circles that you have measured out, two areas.
All right, ladies and just ladies. All right, be aware. Anything left outside of this field of magic, I cannot guarantee will come with you. And keep in mind the fact that this is a sphere. It has a radius. If you are standing on the edge, the top half of you will not come with the bottom half of you. All right. So people near the edge need to be down low.
I'm standing behind Torin, pantomiming.
No, you're over with me.
Yeah, he's saying this in Greek, and Leroy is still pantomiming.
They're like a bunch of people that aren't deaf, but there's the like sign language interpreter. They're just kind of, he's there, I guess, as they listen to Torin.
I'm not being paid attention to, so I start drawing out a circle with my foot, dragging it through the snow.
Don't pay attention to his circle. It's not right.
They listen to what you're saying, and some of them make a few adjustments to the two circles as you get two very nicely formed perimeter wagons that will be ready to transport once you guys are ready to kick off the spells.
I like to assume he did the stake in the ground thing and like made them lift the wagons out of the way as he's going in a circle, just like excuse me, pardon me, just everyone step
or just
over.
slunk underneath it.
He did that on the first one, and then we made him use an open space and then move people into it for the second one after we realized too late what he was doing the first time.
But the Amazonian lady's lifting up wagons and awkwardly stepping over a string is like, it's just...
Is there one person who's bringing a comedically large amount of stuff?
No, actually. All of them have been very good at compacting and being pretty frugal. You get the notion they're not taking beds, they're not taking bed rolls, extra blankets, spare items. Pretty much the bulk of what they're taking is some of the more expensive wines, the handfuls of currency and jewelry that they have, majority of which is clothing, armor, and weaponry. Primarily spears and a couple wagons of surplus large hoplite shields. And some mixes of armor.
Alright, though you are ready to do this.
Let's do it.
Alright, Team 1 consisting of Leroy and Nikos and assumedly Hachu. Make your roll for your spell. For as you bust open the seal and unroll the scroll, you can see a series of markings and writings all across it, and what seems to be some arcane seals that seem to bear a few very old Greek symbols of what seems to be old Greek houses and various kind of faction belongings. Some of them seem to almost be like old Bactrian and like Athenian style seals.
What are we rolling?
So whoever has magical use or the ability to cast magic, roll me Arcana, as you'll be able to put your hand to the scroll. Was that a disadvantage? Oh yeah, the disadvantage. Ooh.
Why did you choose to?
Just doing group 1
perfectly.
That'll be group 1. Those of you standing in group 2 will look over as you'll see a orange kind of spike shoot upwards from it, going just past your head, Leroy. As it extends up, fans out at the end, and envelops over, making almost like an orange dome over the circle that was drawn out almost perfectly, as the orange dome shrinks down and just everything kind of disappears into the ground with it.
Did it take the ground?
There is a very severe singe to everything that it was underneath the dome as it shrunk down, and you hear sort of a miniature kind of crack of thunder as the dome fully dissipates. To those of you still in the mountains, yeah, there's some singed grass and ground where the circle was, and what seems to be a somewhat torn and burnt up scroll that has been used.
and I'll never get tired of the sound of a vacuum collapsing.
All right. Casting.
All right. Hit me with that Arcana.
Oh.
Holy
Ooh.
shit.
The orange spike descends up much slower as it gets to the top, rolls at the edges, furls out, and slowly encapsulates over as it becomes very dense, slowly sinking down before you feel everything kind of cease, including yourselves, as the last of the Amazon town is left completely empty and void of all life or really too much evidence of life outside of some stuff that was left behind as Wondrous Company and the Amazons leave the Caucasus with a loud thunderous crack.
We should have left some booby traps for the Soviets. Oh well.
No. Few moments later, this will be fun. Torn, Peter, you guys feel yourselves come back into being, standing with everybody else as you're able to gasp, kind of look outwards. You are in what has been a very recently cleared, probably cornfield. All the wagons are where they were, everything's sitting on the ground, all the dirt beneath you is a little warm and slightly singed, as everything is completely intact. However, as you and everybody in Group 2 looks over, you get the notion by everybody either being on a knee or standing up, or some of the wagons being on their bellies as some of the wheels have broken or pivoted or crumpled to the side. You get the notion that their teleportation spell, because of the perhaps haste in which it was cast, dropped them about 5 feet above ground, and everything dropped 5 feet when they came back into existence.
Oh, so many sprained ankles.
Yeah. There's a little bit of commotion, but everybody's kind of helping each other up and looking over as the two groups kind of go back to each other and turn into one larger group.
Sorry, that was my first time casting something like that.
It wasn't an enjoyable experience for us. I can only imagine how it went for you.
Oh,
Was as good for you as it was for us?
well, it looks like they actually landed on the ground rather than above it, like us.
Could have landed in the ground.
True.
If the roll was any lower, perhaps. Yeah, you guys, you're able to reconvene, and after a short while, you hear a couple familiar Greek voices and sounds as what seems to be a mixture of, standing off to the side is a few of the nicer trucks and bread trucks, the little bitty, pull-around ones that you saw being used by some of the other members of the Greek League, are parked and kind of circled around this field as a mixture of races and members of the League are approaching with food, blankets, assistance. You do get the notion, and you're able to tell that a lot of the water Ganassi and a mixture of the earth Ganassi and the handful of snoplights that are standing around still are keeping their distance, not out of apprehension, but out of what seems to be more of a hesitant respect, almost like they may have been informed, don't approach the Amazons, but everybody else do so. As people come in and start aiding and assisting them, start motioning where they need to go, as very quickly you see some of the just more senior members of the Greek League kind of motioning and gesturing people and getting them organized. As Nikos, you will feel a bit of a pressure to your back as you will be turned around and grabbed in a big old nice hug.
Not hug back. Ah.
Oh, hello,
Well,
son.
Hello.
I
Have a
see
bumpy
you're
ride, but it worked.
bringing more friends to the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once we get them organized, and we'll see to getting them housed as quickly as possible and look to some of the sprained ankles, I think they'll find themselves rather comfortable to be back in familiar territory.
I sure hope so.
Where's
Definitely
the,
needs some mountains.
where's the remainder of your friends? As she's kind of looking around for
They're
the
over
rest of you
there.
now.
I'm already seeing to the sprained ankles.
You know, point everyone out. We went in two groups just to make sure, so they're all
Understandable.
scattered around.
Well, we have enough aid to help them, and we'll get them nice and cozy. If you would gather your friends, bring them to the manor proper, and I'd like to have a chat with all of you and catch up.
All right.
I'll see you there shortly. And she'll
Alright.
give another quick hug
I
before
know you
turning
all-
and walking off.
I know you all didn't know this, but I never let Nikos keep pets, and that includes Amazons!
I'll go and gather everyone up.
I don't know about you, but I like to keep my Amazons wrapped. There's just something about that cherry look.
You know. Yeah.
And DM's already plotting my demise.
Nah, you're good. You've cleared out your bad karma. You're fine. You're not the one that's gonna be
Oh, I'm sure he'll
demised.
get more.
After a little while, Nikos is able to gather all of you and bring you guys forward. Torn, you're still wearing your toga at the moment as all of you make your way to the familiar large Zagros estate. And you're able to... Oh.
Is going to find Nikos' mother on the walk. Like,
Ma'am, please, do you remember the outfit I was wearing last time we met?
Oh, hello. I believe I do.
I need pants.
You're not wearing... Oh. I'm
Wrong
surprised I
story.
didn't notice earlier.
I mean, it's your traditional attire, but I need proper clothing.
We
Something
can...
with a collar, you know?
We can
collar? Yeah,
see
you
to
need
that. I believe we might have some of Nikos's previous clothing we can lend you for now.
But Nikos is 2 feet taller than me.
He was once your height. She gives kind of a smile at that and continues walking.
no. This is not what I asked for, but this is what I wanted.
You guys are able to walk along, make your way up the steps. The nice doors are opened up. Once again, in the lap of Zagros luxury at the Zagros estate.
Who fabricated these knockers?
I would assume it was somebody local. Somebody who could really get their hands on them on a regular basis to be able to maintain them properly.
I'm bad enough. Y'all need to shut the
Little
fuck
bit
up.
of a
Ass
raised,
weight.
little bit of a raised brow and a look over, just kind of a
Perfect
smile.
weight in the palm.
Everybody's
I
gotta
see
get
your
their
friends
clothes on.
haven't
God
changed from the reports I've been given, Nikos.
Nope.
These are a feat of engineering. What?
Same old, same old.
She'll walk you guys to the big old dining table, have you all sit down and get comfy. She'll motion for you, Torrin, to kind of step aside real quick, and she'll take you down one of the halls, open the door. Feel free to gather what clothes you feel would be comfortable for you for now until you can get back into your old attire. I don't believe Nikos will mind what you take from his old rather substantial amount of clothing. She'll give kind of a nod and leave you to it for a while. She'll join the others at the table. Give me
Absolute worst
investigation,
part, it's
Tor.
all just big skirts again.
Give me...
16.
You walk into what you assume to be one of Nikos's many bedrooms across the many different estates. And you're able to open the large sliding closet. There's multiple suits, multiple casual attire, dining attire, some very nice pants, some very nice slacks, some bougie dress shoes, and some more casual dirt play clothes.
Or going with one of them suits, the nice slacks. Something with
Yeah,
a
anything
belt,
that allows
a
his
white
balls
starch
to hang
collar, maybe a blazer.
Torin, give me history.
15.
Alright, not quite high enough. Yeah, you guys come You guys are all sitting down. You're treated to some drinks. Nikos' mother is, of course, sitting there, seeming pretty pleasant. As a few minutes later, Torn will come walking down the hallway. I'm assuming you're probably not wearing shoes, but you are
No.
rocking the dress shoe, like spats or something, maybe? I'm assuming those might have survived.
If you had yeah, sure, probably either spats or just no shoes. No shoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
They don't
Bats
work.
wouldn't have survived because he stepped on them.
Oh, yeah, the spats are completely gone then. Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
I'm sure he could get some from some random the Zagros has their own army and soldiers
Pretty
wear
much,
spats.
yeah. You might be able
So-
to find some, but for now, you just got the dress pants kind of curled inwards and kind of nicely tucked right above where the feet start. But yeah, you hear the little click clack of the claws, makes his way down, and you guys see. The history roll wasn't quite high enough. Thorin's rocking a nice black single-breasted suit, got the white dress shirt underneath. Is he rocking a tie or?
Probably went without the tie. A bit formal, top button undone. You know.
He's dressed like a slightly less than formal, specific kobold. Just changed the color from black to orange without noticing it.
I was really hoping. Top hat with a cane and full double-breasted suit, tails.
Yeah, he's minus the red tie. He looks like a somewhat shorter but very similarly dressed and almost equally expensive Craven. She'll
Oh,
kind
good, you
of
found pants.
I'm gonna turn to Nikos and I'm gonna kind of whisper to him. See what I see.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Tell him.
I don't know if we should. I
While
don't think
Leroy
so.
opens his mouth, I'm gonna kind of cup my hand over it.
I'm just looking at Torin, sizing him up and down, giving him the thumbs up and the eyebrow waggle, like, yeah, man, you're fucking rocking it, dude.
Leroy.
Or like this pumps the air.
Leroy, your specific experience. Give me a perception roll. You've worn some very nice stuff back in the day before you took more of a field-worthy appearance and attire as your standard and kind of made it your moniker. The jacket alone is more expensive than anything you've ever worn before.
Jesus, Nikos' his kids' clothes.
Oh, glad you can. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Right onto the mic. Kind of looks to you. Oh, glad you can rejoin us
Sit on
as
that
your.
panel, you know? Hot
no.
tour.
Don't even start. Glad you can rejoin us as your former self, Torn. We were just about to, I assume, begin a. What would you call it? A debriefing?
Something like that.
Mr. Dwarf, thank you again, Mrs. Zagros. I like the feeling of having clothes on again.
From what I've gathered, no, we'll pass on that for now. So, some pressing information to catch you all up on, including you, Nikos. But also, I feel you will need to explain a little bit, because I'm still catching up as to what you've promised us to. Your plane arrived with a handful of dragonfolk and a particular Kenku, who informed us that you had promised them asylum within the estates.
Temporarily, we were planning to take them to back to London because there's a sizable Georgian community there.
I heard wherever they wanted to go. Really.
Understandable. We had, unknowing this, granted them full asylum, actually, and they have made themselves rather comfortable already, but they've been very pleasant, very calm. A little bit of a language barrier, but we've overcome that rather easily. I will also ask, so about how many Amazons did you bring?
There were 300 or so.
Hmm,
They are
okay.
the 300.
300's a good number.
I see what you're alluding to. You know, we Athenians actually made much higher grounds during a specific battle that a lot of your Spartan historians don't always like to allude to. But that said,
It's just a joke, ma'am.
understandable. That said, we have the room and board available to house them until they can be properly aided. Madame Thrasson has already promised large areas for them to stay at. However, we will have to discuss, and I will be having future meetings with Queen Antiope as to where they will be staying and what estates we will be relinquishing to the Amazons. We will also have to discuss with them whether they wish to fully join the League, in which case the Queen will have to be fully brought up to speed, and it will be a little bit of time. But Madame Thrasson has also promised quite a bit of aid in this regard. However, we do understand, especially those of us from the Athenian League and of the River Folk and Alexander's descendants, the Amazons may be rather apprehensive of ourselves and the Thracians, as you may be familiar. The last occurrence with them was rather unbecoming. Yes, Torn.
I say just give them a bunch of wooden bricks in a field and they'll probably just do their own thing.
That may be what we devolve to, as they may not take too kindly to receiving our aid. But, of course, this will be determined as I have future talks with their queen, and we'll see exactly where they will fall in with us.
Well, hopefully we've made some inroads with them.
I can only hope, as you seem to have given them asylum from what I can only assume is the Soviets' expansion into their border territories.
Mhm.
And we slayed a dragon in front of them, so I mean, they're pretty impressed.
If
You
and
did what,
Um,
Nikos?
We fought a dragon.
A dragon.
They apparently had a captive dragon that broke free.
And you killed it.
Yeah.
We all did. After getting roughed up by it.
Just you six.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes,
Amazons were
just
decidedly
us.
unhelpful.
You
Maybe
They stood there gawking.
you all stood and allowed Nikos to fight a dragon.
I know we fought it with him.
Technically, I was sitting.
Nikos.
Oh, show her the scars.
You. Nikos.
Yeah, Torn. Show him the scars.
Yes.
It's a lot to take off.
Don't tell me.
Why?
Fine.
You don't
We're not
wanna
that
sit
big.
in front of
Why would you fight a dragon?
We didn't choose to.
Well,
We didn't really have much of a choice.
Oh.
I did offer for it to surrender. It didn't want to surrender, so
I tried talking to it.
This isn't a dragon Madame Thrasson or any of the Greek League may be familiar with, I hope.
So,
I don't believe so.
So it was about yay tall, it was green, and it spat acid.
It didn't look familiar to me.
You fought an acid dragon.
it's a southern Russian mountain dragon. It's the Lord of Kazan at one point in time, a long time ago.
Oh, okay. For a moment,
It's
I
dead
was
now.
afraid you may have fought one of the Crimean dragons, which have been in hiding for a while. We were wondering where they all went. Okay,
Not there.
so they're still missing then. That's good to hear. You,
Do I ping anything off what Torin just said?
give me history.
Oh yeah, Torin kept that to himself. 'Cause
Yeah.
He was named.
Peter, you remember some folklore and stories way back in the Novgorod days. The, sort of principality, the sort of state of the Khanate, if you will, of Kazan, one of the very small powers way back then, was really, really strong because the folklore goes they had a dragon that at first tried to enslave them, but instead becoming their friend and became almost like their folklore hero after repelling the Huns and repelling many other groups that tried to invade through Kazan and ended up bypassing it entirely, and was kind of the protector of that region. However, went dormant for a while when a particular very heavy winter set in and kind of disappeared around 1300s-ish.
Of course, as you say that, Torin, I'm taking a drink, and it's just one of those drinking followed by coughing, followed by staring at you for a minute.
You recognize it, I take it?
I've heard stories, but we can talk about that later.
Yes, I regret bringing it up. I kept that to myself for a reason. I'm not proud of that.
Do you happen to know the name?
I don't believe you gave me a name with my role.
I did, actually.
Send it to me again. Because I believe I forgot to document it.
Let me scroll back a little ways into our messages. It's somewhere in there. Oh god, where'd I put it? There's so many kobolds. I got it's a little ways back.
The search, just Control F Kazan.
I don't know. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I'm already halfway there. Hang on.
Oh, you actually just talk about the former Russian cognate a lot, so it won't help.
Yeah, we had like 20
I'm sure.
discussions about Kazan. There it is. Yeah, copy. Whoop. Jump to present. Boop. And Saber, I'll bounce this to you as well, since you wouldn't know about this.
He asked specifically the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's just gonna like shrink a little bit and go,
Zealand?
She kind of tilts her head a little bit and doesn't seem to be familiar with the name herself. Well, I can't say I'm entirely familiar with it, but I will, if it's okay with you, unless you'd rather I not bring this up to Madame Thrasson.
I'm not comfortable or happy with the outcome. If it wasn't brought, I'd like it if it wasn't brought up personally.
I will refrain from bringing it to her attention then.
It might be better if we told her, because I get the feeling this is going to come out at some point because the Amazons are going to talk about it. Unless we take the Amazons all the way back to England.
Mr. Copeland? Are you okay?
I'm actually falling asleep, not gonna lie.
that was actually you falling asleep vertically?
Holy
Yes.
shit. That was like
thought you were
comically.
fucking
I am not trying to fall asleep in my chair, and I'm failing epically.
That was perfect. Leroy fell asleep in the fucking
I
booth.
fell asleep in the chair.
You were snoring for like 3 good old.
If you would like to, Leroy, we can have you.
We're gonna roleplay that.
We can have you take a nap in your chair, and I could have them see to you if you want to tap out for the session. That's perfectly fine. How you feeling?
I'm sorry,
Good?
I'm tired.
Yeah, you're good. If you're tired, dude.
Stop leaning back.
Yeah, stop leaning back. Lean forward.
Sit on the ass of your chair and in the front of your chair. Fucking deal with it, old man.
Take the caffeine suppository. Yeah, if you need to get you some sleep, man, or head out, yeah. I can, we'll have you pass out and have you retire to one of the rooms, if that's cool with you.
Sure.
Yeah, get you
As long
some
as I
sleep,
don't
man.
get-
I mean, you
as long
should
as I
stick
don't get
around.
Stabbed.
No,
I
you
might
fall
fall
asleep in your
my chair anyway.
you fall asleep at your chair at dinner, dude. I mean, who says? Who knows what's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
I ain't promising you shit.
Don't worry, nothing bad will happen to you, and I'll brief you up, or we'll be able to watch the replay later on. But yeah, get you some sleep, man. I'll have Leroy retire, as he's probably tired, and we'll catch you up a little afterwards. Sound good?
You got exhausted from yelling at the Amazons.
Yeah, the cooking exhausted.
I don't know what happened, but I'm very fucking tired.
Yeah, go for it, man. It's all good.
Plus, you didn't probably get good sleep tied up too. That probably
Yeah, you probably
hindered
didn't
his
get the
sleep,
best
I
of
imagine.
sleep. She'll kind of look to you. Yeah, she'll kind of see Leroy like tilting his head back, and we'll motion for two of the stoplight aides to come in, and we'll kind of just pick up his chair by both sides and just kind of chauffeurs him off. Well, he seems rather beat by your situation.
Yeah, he was kind of tied down last night.
Oh?
Metaphorically speaking, of course. He was tied down with, like, obligations and stuff, you know?
I imagine someone as charismatic as him was probably pretty advantageous with the Amazons.
Oh, yes.
He definitely tried at least.
I wouldn't doubt it. Well, it's glad to have you back, and this obviously will take a little bit of time to organize, but thankfully this works out. I was also caught up by your pilots as to your endeavors in roads, and being brought up by the remainder of the Athenian League forces that did return to us. We did suffer rather substantial losses during that fight. Our numbers are somewhat depleted. However, the second point that I really wish to catch up with the lot of you, especially you, Nikos, outside of my advisement, considering your current need to remain autonomous within the services of the OSS, the rest of the League have voted greatly in favor that you be promoted to a rank within not only the Athenian League, but the Greek League as a whole. Due to
He accepts.
well, he doesn't necessarily have a choice. Mr. Nikos, you have been promoted within the Greek League to the rank of Strategos. You are officially recognized as one of our 5 field commanders. And as such, I need to award you with this. And she kind of reaches down to the side, pulls up a kind of small ram's horn that seems to be tan and white. It's very intricate and has sort of that like square zigzagging carved into it at 2 parts near the top and the base, and holds it out to you. You can see where the bottom is particularly cut and has sort of a reed attached into it, and has a nice strap wrapped around it. Holds it out to you and sets it out.
I'll take it.
This is the Athenian League call to arms. Whenever you should need aid of any readily available members of our fieldable or military branches of our many allies, you need only blow on the horn, and what elements are available will respond and will use whatever teleportation magics are available to attend to the area or nearest to the area that this horn is blown. While I can't promise it will be quite the same response, at least not for the next couple weeks while we replenish our numbers and figure out just how helpful the Amazons will be, thankfully we do find ourselves with, in the foreseeable future, a substantial number climb in the fieldable warriors, thanks to Madame Thrassen and your Yanti friend and their offspring. But for now, I should also go over the numbers that will be available should you ever call upon this horn. We are looking at roughly 50 fieldable hoplites from the Thracians. The Cretians, who were unable to aid in the fight, will be readily available, able to field maybe 2 to 300. Our Rhodian auxiliaries, who were completely unaware of the defensive roads, have now fully mustered, allegedly able to field a total of 400, although that is yet to be backed up by any actual numbers. The Bactrians largely exerted the majority of their forces along with the Spartans, and of course our Athenian Marines. We find ourselves with a very loose 54 remaining members. But we are working to replenish those numbers and find further allies as we reach out to all corners to find more who wish to return to their Greek home and bolster our forces to at least be able to repel a small threat should it arise. But remember this horn, and out of character DM2 player, add the Athenian League horn to your rep. For inaction, it will take a full turn's action to use the horn to blow upon it, and between 1 to 3 turns, a randomly rolled group of Greek League forces that are available at that time will spawn in between 1 and 3 turns to aid you in that fight.
Alright.
Nice.
Obviously, I am a little hesitant to simply give you this rank and responsibility, as it will come with further responsibilities, as you may find yourselves tangled in further political talks. However, I have informed the other members of the League, including the other generals, that you are currently in the services of the OSS and are not to be called upon unless it is of a dire need, as your focus should be with your friends and with the English military and government.
Should they need me, I'll come.
I reluctantly informed them that would likely be your response, and they seem rather happy. However, I can't lie that it's not assisting in our diplomatic presses, as they are already alluding to the... well, it's a little sour on my ears. The return of a Alexander. Don't let that go to your head, Nikos.
I won't. I know what happens to Greek heroes when they get too hubris.
While trusting and knowing that I raised a very strong son who could be capable of heroic deeds, I am rather apprehensive, as our family history is not the best in those regards. But we are Zagros. We're a little more resilient than some of our previous family. That also said, we are attempting to track down the great-great-aunt, of which I can give no additional answers. She has once again disappeared from our chances of finding her, and I have no information to give as to where she might be or what she may be doing. I will warn you all that bringing about a new generation of Thracians and bringing about a substantial new number of Amazonians who were assumed to be lost will, you did indeed, perhaps draw some eyes on us once again, so we will need to be extra safe, and I also do strongly beckon you do so as well. I'm sure you can only assume the somewhat Italian-aligned elements of our government may take exception to the Greek League growing in any way stronger. But
Call us anytime, ma'am, and I'll shoot Italians for you.
I definitely appreciate that. We are attempting to be as diplomatic as possible with them, but leave it to the more comfortable groups of the Bactrians specifically to want to work with the Italians, and some of the old raiding elements of the Illyrians along our western coast of Greece seem rather happy to align themselves with a strong Italy again. Although we are yet to see what may come of that. Well, that is enough prattling from my end. What information or requests do you have of me, or how can I help you all?
I don't think we need anything right now. Well, maybe my chest plate needs to be repaired a little bit, but that can wait.
Noticed some new damage, including your damaged clothes, and I can only assume it was related to the acid dragon that you slayed.
Yeah, that'd be it.
It will require more than just physical repair. You know where the blacksmith is if any of you should have equipment that should need repair, or wish to acquire it. Simply drop a message out of character at the end of session to our various personnel. They will be able to attempt to acquire most of those items or repair what they can, including your armor.
I'd like access to your expedited mail service. I've got a letter I'd like to send.
Ah, yes, I can see to that. Where will you be sending it to?
Boston.
Boston. Yeah, we can see to that.
Thank you.
Of course. Will
Of
this
course, I must write it
be
first, but this will be in the evening, probably.
will this be privately delivered specifically to a person, or will this be a more to location delivery?
Their name will be on the post.
Understood. I can have a runner travel and deliver this message in person.
Thank you.
Of course.
Across the Atlantic.
Just sprint across the Atlantic.
More like walk across, but you know.
There's gotta be faster ways than that.
There's teleportation magic too, don't worry. Or message magic. There's many ways they can get a message across pretty quickly. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm sure you all would like to take a nice rest and relaxation, and I'm assuming you'll probably be on your way again soon?
The plane returns.
Not before hitting up those baths.
I was going to say, please make yourselves at home, be comfortable, relax. Judging by how long it took them to get here previously, yeah, I'm going to say you'll probably be able to depart come first thing tomorrow morning. So please stay the night, getting comfortable, unless of course you have something pressing you need to get to.
I would like a copy of any map of Syria you may have.
Syria. I won't question that, and I will acquire what maps I can.
I also need to find out who the Jews sold that Colossus to.
The Colossus of Rhodes?
Yes,
Is
the Colossus.
is that what you're searching for?
Yep.
Yep.
Son, that search was abandoned long ago when none of the remains were able to be recovered after it was sold.
Probably had a little bit of trouble because the people on the roads do not know how to organize a library.
We have no
Yes,
information.
I've heard it was quite a mess.
You
Not as bad as the palm tree.
any information you may have recovered from there would be quite I'm sure as you all have investigated now already, but the Colossus was sold by Jewish traders long ago to, I believe, one of the... Perhaps it was a warlord in Syria, but I may be fuzzy in that history.
You know, you're right.
Oh, am I? Oh.
The official documentation in Syria.
Well, that may be somewhat harder to track down. I'm sure, as you know, command over that region since that time has changed hand many, many times over. But, if that's what you're going to do, then I suppose there's nothing more archaeological than that for the archaeology and historian focused military group that you are. Of course, none of this
Right
word
up
will...
our alley.
I would say so. Of course, none of this word will leave my mouth. I will look for any assisting articles that I can personally and deliver them to one of you.
Thank you. That would help a lot.
Thank you.
As you saw in Rhodes, they're kind of in dire straits. They need something.
I specifically spoke with Madame Thrasson, who will eventually see to it that a small detachment be sent to the fort at Rhodes to aid those clerics and paladins of your parallel order in defending it until you hopefully do find what happened to the Colossus. Is your aim to restore it?
Yep.
Possibly. I mean, I try not to aim too high with my goals, but yeah.
That will be quite the endeavor if you can manage to do so. Well, best of luck, and of course, do not try to willingly fight any more dragons if you can help it.
I'll try to avoid it.
Ma'am, that's never on my to-do list.
I would assume, Cedric. Very well. I'll no longer bore you with this, and anything you should need or wish to attend to, I will likely be busy for the next few hours speaking with the Queen alone for a while, but later this evening and around dinner I will be available should you need me. But please, go get comfortable, attend to your rooms. Also, Nikos, you will be happy to hear that we have started the reconstruction and cleaning of your study island, and it will be usable again in due time.
You're inviting us there when it's ready, right?
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will see to the Amazons and speaking with the Queen, and of course, you know your way around, so I bid you adieu for now. And she'll raise up from the chair and kind of step over, give a nice hug to Nikos.
Give her a hug. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of step around, give a sort of half hug to Hachu, continue around. Peter, she just brings you in for a hug. Torn leans down, brings you for a hug, gives a nod to all of you before stepping out one of the side doors and making her way out to do what she does best, administrative duties for refugee and displaced Greeks. Leaving the few of you sitting around your table.
You know what, Nikos?
Mm.
Your mom's great.
She is.
So with this, you guys have the remainder of time. Peter, do you have any ETA on Hachu's arrival? Or will he be joining us today?
He just got home. I'm pretty sure that was him.
Oh, yeah, 7:02. He just said so. Yeah, he'll be with us, hopefully in a little bit. Once he joins us, I do have a thing that will require the fourth of you. However, until then, what would you guys like to do around the estate? The estate is yours.
To the baths.
To the baths.
To the baths. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh no!
What are the odds we run into an Amazon in the baths?
Not super
Another
likely.
awkward time between two jacked dudes.
Yeah, the three usual suspects make their way over, and you guys grab yourself a couple bowls of fruit, and like a couple dudes are like, yeah, we'll grab some smokes, grab some fruit, grab some meats, and make your way on over to the baths. It's entirely private and to yourselves. There are, of course,
Wine.
a little bit of wine. There are, of course, two assistants there. You'll have some cheese and crackers. Fucking the whole smorgasbord is you guys just go full bougie and comfy and just have like the three dudes hanging out in the warm baths, eating cheeses and crackers and some wine and just catching up on some nice fruits and food and just having a good old time. Shit, roll me. Excuse me. Each of you roll me. What's the most relaxing stat?
Nature?
Yeah, roll me nature. Three of you roll me nature. Oh! Oh no.
You're slipping on the way into the baths.
Crack
Nikos
your
and
head on
Torn.
the fucking step.
Nikos and Torn, you guys are able to get comfy. You're able to relax, kind of ease out. But at one point in time, Peter has an unfortunate, very unfortunate series of events where he decides to get out of the pool or out of the bath for a moment, walk over to grab one of the plates. He goes to like grab an apple or something. And as he's walking back, steps on a spot of water on the marble floor, slips, slides, and kind of does that like bounce off the tailbone, hits the center of the spine, and then drops down into the pool with a splash and just kind of double taps yourself as you're like raising out of it. You're gonna be a bit sore, a little bit bruised for a while.
You alright?
Yeah, gonna lay on hands myself to fix that.
Yeah. You fix the possible hairline fracture in your tailbone.
Peter over there like
Ah.
Oh shit.
Unfortunate falls aside, I live these moments of calm between the hell that I've been subjected to in the past few weeks.
It has been a rough little bit of time, hasn't it?
A little bit.
You know, Nikos, perhaps after this is done, we are done with Syria. We can go to Shanghai and make sure you see that Western Sea or Far Eastern Sea before you have the desire to conquer everything to it.
Good idea.
No, I don't have any plans of conquest. Don't worry.
Just watch those heels, okay? Hey, we can get you extra armor made for him, you know.
True. Suppose I could.
Or you
Sorry.
could try spurs.
Taking this moment to eat some Cheez-Its.
Oh, I don't want to think right now. I'm thinking about things. Oh, there's a lot of
Relax
that
into the
going on.
water.
Anastasia's still in the woods. We killed the jag. Nope, not gonna.
You know, I'm actually pretty happy with this. That dragon once wiped out the whole host of Cossacks. Many, many centuries ago.
Well, there we go. We avenged them.
Frankly, I am surprised it went down so easy. You know, we used to not really that long ago. Like it's as long as the 1700s. We used to still raid across the steppe like the Scythians of old.
I mean, a dragon's a dragon. You imagine how well that would have gone without machine guns?
I
Quite
definitely
rough,
can.
I imagine.
I believe it was 12,000 Cossacks killed.
That's a lot.
Again, no machine guns. Bit of the great equalizer, isn't it?
What is it? Your Samuel Colt said God made big men and God made small men, but he made them equal.
Is that a small joke?
Of course. A little bit to lighten the mood, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm getting more wine.
You're able to climb out of the bath and walk on over, just fucking.
Oh, you're not making him roll athletics or nature for this? Come on.
Nah, he will be. He will be. Go over to grab one of the bottles of wine and go walking back over. He does have the kobold feetsies, so his stability is a bit
And
better.
Oh, but he's got claws, and he's not standing on something soft, so it should be worse.
He's got claws and pads.
Yeah. It's like claws and pads. It's a nice combination. It's actually hard to make him slip or trip, but yeah, I'm gonna need a dexterity check from you.
14.
Nah, that works fine. You come walking back with the bottle of wine, and it's that moment where you extend like one leg down, which you realize when not standing or like kind of at attention, kobolds actually have a very long extendable leg capacity. As he extends down into the bath, and then as he raises his back leg to kind of step in, does that sort of like slip where he drops in and you bash your right shin on the edge of it as you kind of drop into the bath.
You should invest in those subsurfaces, Nikos.
Or just walk more carefully.
Yeah, that's a good point.
As a note, Torin is probably most definitely getting I didn't mean to, but also traumatic experience wine drunk as shit tonight. So
Well,
he's
Roll
just
me,
casually putting down way too much wine.
Roll me, let's see. Deception. Roll me deception.
Oh, okay.
try and appear sober.
The both of you, give me perception. Nikos and Peter.
Got it.
Oh no, it's one of those clear bottles.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that go clear as, after the couple hours that you guys are just relaxing and really soaking it in, you both are able to kind of eyeball without having noticed it immediately. There's 3 empty bottles, and the two of you have only accounted for half of one of those.
Me and Nikos have been sharing a bottle, and Doran's just been down.
Torrens down 2 bottles, and it's not the, like, actual wine bottle size. It's those really wide at the base ones that are fluted and come to, like, a pour spout on top. It's one of those ones that are, like, a wine bottle and a half in size and capacity.
Oh,
And there's
God.
2 of those
boy.
empty behind him, and you guys got yours, which is got maybe, like, a half to a quarter left in it.
So Doran,
Might want to slow down there.
Slow down what?
want to talk about it?
Oh,
Was a very traumatic moment for you.
I mean, I've had a lot of those. I think about it a bit more. Just about, every single moment, more or less, between the moments of lucidity have been relatively traumatic. Yeah? Yeah, a little bit.
Feeling about that.
I don't really know, because I haven't necessarily had time to slow down and think about it too much, because we've always been doing things and killing more things and I've had very important things to do, more important things than thinking about the stuff, the things.
Oh, we have some time now. Nice, relaxing time and a nice warm bath.
Mm. Yeah, I think I want it to stay relaxing though, because we're all having a good time, and then you start digging into all the reasons I'm upset, and then I get all dramatic, and then the bath is ruined.
Kind of look over to Nikos and see.
You cut out there.
Oh, I'm gonna look over to you and see how you're feeling about continuing. That you want to participate or just want to go back to just chilling in the bath.
No, I'll help a friend out here. Or try to, at least.
Hey, where do those wine bottles come from?
You do kind of notice that there's 2 empty, like, flask bottles behind you now, Tor.
I think
Third
these
one floating in front of him.
Hey, Nick, your mom better not be cheaping out on us. I think they're bringing me empty wine bottles.
No, you're just going through them all.
Oh. I do have a big mouth.
It probably doesn't help that don't really have lips.
Yes, I do. Look, I see. This is very clearly a lip. Look, see, flesh.
Okay to talk about it.
My lips.
All friends here. We can be open with each other.
Oh, we're not talking about my lips. You're talking about the fact that I'm barely keeping it together, aren't we? More wine, please. Yeah, just enough. Yes, I know there's 3 bottles. Yeah, full. Yeah, full. No more empty ones. Thank you.
One of the assistants sees that, steps out, comes back with 2 more corked, like, large flasks of wine and sets them on the table where the other 2 used to be. And then
Don't make me get up. No, I don't.
they give a nod and step back out, leaving them on the table.
No, don't make me. Come on, no. Come on. Shit.
The bottles are readily available on the table, but it will require leaving the warm bath to get them.
He's just gonna like hang his head back on the fucking granite or whatever on the marble and just be like,
Are you barely keeping it together, Thorin?
I don't know. Sometimes it kind of feels like it, and that's just I don't quite know how to parse it. I've come to the acceptance that I don't mind killing things. I don't mind killing people. In fact, I'm very good at it. In some ways, there's this primal part of me that there's this part of me that relishes it, and I feel bad about that. But I don't feel bad about that as I should. I suppose I feel bad. Because I don't feel bad. It's very confusing.
Take a look at Nico to see if he has any.
Well, we are soldiers. It's kind
You're
of
a
just part of
soldier.
what we have to do.
No, you're a soldier. Peter is a soldier. I was raised in a museum on books and silk sheets and social niceties and civilization. I'm not a soldier.
You know, I knew a general like that once. He was a very brave man. He was raised in Petrograd,
I just
one of the aristocracy. He wanted to be a dancer of all things.
that's a little odd, but I mean, if you're
But
good at something.
his place in the aristocracy required him to be a soldier. When it came time for him to fight, he was a very brave man. I had more than once seen him lead cavalry charges across no man's land, armed with nothing but a sword,
Wow.
wearing one of those Napoleonic cavalry hits, and having this giant streamer streaming from the top of his head, so that everyone on the battlefield knew he was leading battle.
That is see, I appreciate that, and I would not do that because it just seems like a really good way to die. I mean, I'm not trying to like that drop like devalue that at all. That is amazing. That's truly a great man, but that's insane.
He definitely was insane, and of all things, he died of liver failure. Completely unrelated to drinking. I hear it ran in his family.
Oh,
My point, Torin, is those two things are not mutually exclusive. But it has to be some kind of person born to war. You'll just have to be. When it comes time to fight, you have to fight.
well, I know that. I suppose a large part of me is struggling with the reality that I'm good at this, and this is all new to me, and I can't imagine a world or a life where I just go back to a library and civil society where I go back to studying and reading books and organizing and dealing with the bureaucracy. I can't see a future of that, and I'm not even sure that's something I want to get back to anymore. So I'm in this place now where I don't know who I am anymore. I just don't know. I am not what I was. Or maybe I am what I always was. And now I'm just realizing it.
What do you want to be?
I don't know.
That's something to think on. What do you want to do after this?
Those thoughts terrify me. Um, oh, no, I'm not gonna think on that. Maybe in time, but not now. Not today. Not this week.
he's gonna get up and go for more wine.
Climbs up out of the bath and just naked kobold walks his way across, grabs, I'm assuming just one of the jugs.
Yeah, just one. And
Alright.
also, to step on your description a little bit here, without like any clothing on, and in general, and in a lower stance, he really kind of just does look like a kobold.
Yeah,
A lot of that individuality is not there without the clothing.
without the clothing, yeah, he does just kind of have, like, even without his glasses on, he's just, that's one among many kobolds. His stature is not too awful different, or, without the, like, spats and pants on, he's not standing quite as tall. A little more of a natural kind of kobold stance as he walks over and grabs the jug, comes walking back, wet pads, drops down to the edge of the bath, sits down, you got your jug in hand.
Yeah, we got good wine here.
You guys hear me?
Only the best.
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah?
you. Yeah, what's
Yes.
Discord is telling me I have 5,000 ping, so
up? Discord
Yeah,
was
same.
getting red on me too. I think Discord's having a little bit of a
It's
hiccup.
yeah. I also have 5,000 ping, so it's just Discord shitting itself across the board.
It should come back
Yeah.
in a moment. We'll
I'll
ride it
flip.
out.
Okay. Alright. Just making sure.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, Torn's got himself another jug of wine, and you're able to pour yourself another cup of it.
A
Is he
cup?
pouring himself cups of it, or is he just pouring it down his gullet?
I don't know, it's coming out. No cups. No cups.
No cup, you're just drinking out of the jug. Oh god, yeah. It's got like the fluted pour head on the jug. He just kind of tilts it and
Yeah, he just
downs a
got
couple
his mouth
gulps.
open, and like half of it is going out either side of his mouth.
No, he's not that animalistic. But he's not. He's not
No.
bloodying the pool.
Yeah.
You see, I think. Well, first of all, remember this is a flowing pool, so it all just goes out.
Yeah.
Second of all, I figure at this point he's so drunk he's biting at it.
Maybe there's a little bit of creepy claws on the neck.
We'll do a con save. We'll do a con save to see where Torn's at with this. We'll leave it to the dice.
Let's do a con save to see how much wine is not spilling.
Percentage dice for this.
So he opens his jaw in like that kobold fashion. They are reptilian enough, similar to Hachu, to where they don't have to swallow if they don't choose to or need to. They can just kind of gullet that. Yeah, the first like quarter cup makes it just fine, but then it starts to hit the side of his jaw, and then just there's a good bit of it that runs down his shoulder for a moment before he tilts it back like, oh shit, oops.
Okay. I think you may have had enough.
No, it's just the lips. I mean, no, they're lips, but I have a big mouth. And, you know, the corners. It's the corners. The corners. The corners.
I'm gonna try and gently take the wine away.
Do you let him take it?
You can probably beat a 9 on strength.
Yeah, give me strength.
Yeah, probably.
Nikos. Oh yeah, he's able to gingerly take it and just kind of whoop, pop it out of your hands.
Hey. Get you out.
I think that's enough. We still have dinner, remember?
We still have dinner.
You don't want to block out, do you?
We're not gonna. I forgot about dinner. Wait, what time is it?
Give me perception.
I don't know. I don't have a watch.
Pulls out his sundial on his wrist. Oh, nice.
That's tell time.
You're able to get a general idea as you look over. Oh yeah, it's like maybe pushing 5:30 in the afternoon.
Oops. Party
Nice
foul.
bougie, we have late dinners.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys talking to me. I just don't know what else to say. I killed things pretty good, and I'm supposed to be the smart one.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Typically they are, I guess, but
I don't
But
see
those
why.
are just stereotypes.
In
You don't have
the
to listen to them.
in the Russian army, we used to take people like you and give them machine guns, because only a smart person truly knows how to utilize one.
what does being short have anything to do? Oh, smart. Oh, I thought you said short. Sorry, your accent is Oh, I think I had too much wine.
Do you want a hangover in the morning or not?
Yeah, I think I do. I earned this.
Do you hit him with it, or Peter?
Like he's actually gonna fall over while getting that.
What?
Or he starts being incredibly disruptive during dinner. We'll see.
Gotcha. Yeah, looking at him, he's smaller stature, quasi draconic, so like pretty decent resilience. But yeah, it's starting to hit him, so it'd be worth kind of keeping an eye on him for a bit. But he seems okay enough for now.
And Peter, we're gonna find Anastasia. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And we're gonna kill those dogs. And we're gonna do it, Nikos. Nikos, your mom is the best, Nikos. She's so cool. I wish I had a mom like your mom, and I never knew my mom. You have a cool mom, Peter. We're gonna find Anastasia, Peter. We're gonna do it. And Nikos, your mom is just the best. And I'm gonna find
Actually
Anastasia.
is. I think it's time for you to have a little nap.
How do you guys help him out?
Are we taking him to dinner, or actually, I'll say this in character. Are we taking him to dinner, or are we taking him to bed?
I think he should go to bed.
We'll have something sent up to you, Torin.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you guys will get out of the bath eventually, dry off, kind of scoop him up and hobble him over to the
We got him.
the
We got him.
house.
One arm over each shoulder, and he's just dangling between
Yeah,
us.
is this dangling hanging there?
is so sad inside, and I don't know what to do about it. And Levi is just an asshole. And I like him. He still has. He cooks good. And Peter, we're gonna find Anastasia.
You guys just kind of T-pose, hang him between you, the towel wrapped around him like a tube, and just carry him off.
He's walking in the air as we're going.
His legs are just idly like pedaling in place. You guys walk a poor, pretty drunk Torin down the path and away once you're fully dressed, and you take him to the rooms, and you're able to go over to the bed and kind of set him down in it, Torn, these are the really nice sheets that they have here. Like, it's the Zagros residence.
Everybody
Like,
gets silk sheets.
it's a nice bed.
Exactly.
They're not silk, but they're 400 plus thread count, and that's good enough.
Torn's able to just kind of slink up, and you see him do a little bit of that, like, kind of coil type thing as he just sinks down into it. And,
I'm gonna say, or in sleep, does he like sprawl out on the bed like a normal person, or does he curl up like a?
He sprawls. He's a sprawler.
he's a sprawler. Yeah, I can vibe with that. Yeah, he just sprawls, he just kind of lay him there.
I didn't mean to light the knot on fire with the lantern right away. She just kind of lit on fire. It's just yours. And then the smell and I blew up a bunch of Italians. And
As the two of you kind of give a nod to each other as you're like, all right, let's let him sleep. As you start to turn, I would like a perception check from Nikos and Peter.
Perception. Ooh.
Nikos, you don't really notice because you kind of exist in a state of like 75 to 60 degrees. Like, you're a bit cooler than the average body, so you don't always notice changes in temperature too much. Peter, though, your magic sense tingles big time. As you guys step away and start to go towards the door, you kind of pause, and Nikos, you'll notice him pause as you look over.
What?
As you're leaving Torrin and you get a few feet away from him, you can feel the amount of, not directed heat, but like a passive kind of warming heat building around the bed. And Torrin.
Alright. Now I'm gonna undrunk Torrin. Before you say anything else, I'm gonna undrunk Torrin just immediately. I'm pretty suspicious about this.
How are you undrunking him?
Purify food and drink.
yeah, we're gonna find Anastasia.
As you go to do
No,
that,
Protection from
you
poison.
hold your hand out to try to cast that on him to basically magically remove the alcohol content. The spell doesn't really work, and you get a small vibe of just, okay, maybe healing? No, maybe remove poison? Purified? None of your magic seems to be working in those couple moments as, Nikos, the both of you can now feel the general area around him. He's not warming up, the bed's not warming up, just the general area is becoming a more soothing, kind of comforting, ambient warmth, like wrapped in a blanket kind of comforting warmth. Torrin.
You said hot. I thought you meant like fire hot.
No, like it was just getting warmer, hotter, like a like the heater had turned on in the room type thing, but it's not as direct. Torrin, I would like a charisma save from you.
Huh. Oh.
You should get it. I was about to say you should get
Not
advantage
bad.
on this because everyone knows you get more charismatic when you get drunk.
He won't need it, actually. Thorn, you haven't felt this warm and kind of comforted since, like, the closest memory that you might have to feeling this comfortable is when you still used to have your egg, and in those early days, like, having your egg nearby you just made you feel very secure, very safe. You're able to just kind of bundle up, and the drunkenness is removed, the alcohol is removed, and you feel a just really overwhelming sense of calmness kind of overtake you. Nikos and Peter, specifically you, Peter, you can see that sort of hollowed silverish ring barely visible near the backside of his head, including nearby you, behind your head, Nikos. As Torn, you are remedied of your drunkenness, and a very warm sense of, like, you'll be okay kind of overtakes you.
I'd assume he would just like immediately like be asleep.
Pretty much.
It's like I don't know. There's a that's just like a resolved. Oh, sleep's nice.
It's nice and warm and cozy, like someone's pulling a blanket over you. But yeah, Nikos, behind your head is that ring. Behind Torn's head is a somewhat faint visible ring. And Peter and Nikos, you just feel a ambient kind of comforting warmth around Torn as you see him physically relax and fully fall asleep.
I guess he still is watching us then.
We should get to dinner.
We should.
Hachu arrives.
Hey, there's
What's
that.
up?
I made it back.
Hey. So, you guys kind of see that, and I assume you know what it is, Nikos.
Yeah.
Alright. You, are able to kind of assure him as the two of you will be able to step out. Thorn, you won't have any debilitating effects when we pick up next session. You'll sleep like a baby all night. You'll be fine.
Maybe sleep like shit.
You know what I mean.
Sleep like a toddler who's just run around the house all day.
Oh yeah, there we go.
As you guys are making your way back out to the hallway, however, you know what, you guys are in tune enough, and we'll kind of wrap the session with this, now that you're here, Hachu. You, good to go for a little bit?
Yep, I'm here till wherever.
Cuckoo.
So Torn's gonna be asleep for the foreseeable while, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go mobile and listen. I need to walk and go pick up my truck from a parking lot 2.5 blocks away.
Gotcha. Go for it. Feel free to listen in.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, you guys step out into the hallway, close the door behind you. As you get outside of that warmth, the ring behind your head, Nikos, kind of slowly fades and just kind of disappears.
Alright. Off to dinner.
You guys go making your way down the hall, and Hachu, to catch you back up, the party used the adequate delivery spell, the delivery of some scrolls, and we're able to actually teleport all the Amazons back to the outskirts of Athens, where you guys currently are at Nikos's mom's manor. Well,
You're
you
at my
guys
house again.
You're hanging out at Nikos's
Yay.
house again. Everyone's been comfy. Leroy's doing his thing. The three of them decided to go hit up the baths, and Torn got a little bit drunk, so they dropped him off in his room to let him sleep it off. As you've just kind of been hanging out, maybe talking with one or two of the other stoplights that seem to be the new kind of impromptu guard for the area. As you see Nikos and Peter come walking back in, you guys understand that dinner will be getting served in time. It seems that Wilhelm and Leroy might be eating together somewhere else or attending to something. Torn's obviously sleeping in the room. So it'll just be the three of you able to sit down as some food is prepped and brought before you. And your mom won't be there at the moment, Nikos, but she is still trying to attend to the Amazons. However, she will join you guys. You're delivered a message that she'll join you later for dessert. As the three of you are able to sit down, get kind of cozy, or rather coil where a chair might normally be. And real nice full course meal, very lavish, very just good food brought before you. Some soups, much better than the rations and stuff that you guys have been eating for the last couple days on mission. It's very cozy and nice.
Nice to have real food again.
As you guys are there, Peter, I need a perception roll from you.
Oh.
You feel like, maybe I do need to rest. I'm kind of cramping a little bit. Your hand's kind of tight, kind of tense. You're like, man, I'm trying to hold this fork in the proper fancy way. Just hand's not really wanting to do it. So you kind of switch the other hand, and you realize the other hand's just a little tense. Nikos, you're starting to kind of feel the same. It's like, oh man, maybe we're just really tired. As I need the three of you to all give me a dexterity save, please.
Dave.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yep.
I already burned all my 20s for this session.
Ooh, okay.
At disadvantage.
Yeah, why'd you roll off disadvantage, or was that still left on from previous?
Apparently, it had it left on from last time.
We'll give you the 18 for that one. For a moment, everything around you kind of stutters, almost like a screen fizzling out or getting a bad connection. As the three of you, the utensils in your hands, the table that's in between you, the plates, the walls, the manor, everything kind of fizzles a bit, and you find yourselves dropping a small space. Hachu, you're a snake. You can't really fall unless you fall a long distance. You find yourself dropping a couple feet and landing on what seems to be a slight rounded mound of what feels like ash and sand underneath you. Nikos, you land on your feet, wondering, where are you?
The hell?
Why are you standing in heel-deep ash under your feet? Peter, you fall flat on your butt and you find your hands pressed down into about an inch into this, what feels like large, very soft, silty mound of just kind of gray ash. You guys can't see into the distance. You can't see outwards. You can't see anything other than realizing you are on what feels like a rounded mound of what seems to be the softest, most silted ash and kind of mixture.
Guys?
Yeah.
Any idea what's happening right now?
I didn't see any ghost dogs, did you?
No, I didn't.
So everything went real tingly for y'all too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
So can we see each other, or
You can see each other, almost like the three of you are emanating a very, very passive light. However, outside of yourselves, you can't see anything into the distance, but you can definitely feel and hear a bit of an echo, like you're in a very large space.
All right, maybe a bad idea, but I'm trying the bullet trick again.
Gonna cast light on a bullet and flick it outwards?
Yep.
Alright, you cast light on it and flick it outwards. You see it spin outwards as the light is emanating off it, and it drops to your same height and then continues dropping further and further. And about 20 yards away, you can barely see on this very gradual slope that you're at the very top precipice of. It lands and disappears under what seems to be more just very soft, very churned kind of ash and mixture as the light fades. And because of the impact of it, you know how the large sandbanks, if you poke the side of it and it starts sliding, more starts sliding with it? After a little bit, that slope starts to slide a bit more and more starts rolling with it. And after a few moments, Peter and Nikos, you guys find your feet sinking in before falling on your backs as you start to slide and get pulled under the ash that has turned into a kind of avalanche of sorts as you guys start to get pulled down. Hachu, you start to slide a little bit with them. I need a perception check from the two of you that are currently falling down the side, as Hachu is still remaining up at the top.
Oh boy, I feel special.
As you guys are sliding down, you're able to manage and control your descent, keeping your heads above the ash so you're not getting pulled underneath it. As you look up to see, like, hey, maybe Hachu can help catch us. Maybe he can do something. Hachu, you feel yourself kind of being strangled at the moment. Something of a substantial size, albeit invisible, currently has a very large grasp just underneath your jaw and is holding you up almost 20 feet above the top of the mound, just holding on to you. As the two of you continue sliding down, you start to lose a bit of the vision and sight on Hachu.
Can we see him being held up?
You can.
I'm gonna cast Ball on him. As tightly around him as I possibly can.
Gotcha. Yeah, you throw your hand out, you cast that spell as you're able to breathe again in that immediate moment, and you can see the magical ball pop up around you, Hachu, as you're kind of able to gasp and look. Manifesting sort of from a general darkness. That is the wrong one. There it is. The perimeter on all sides of you guys, as the two of you start to come to a slow, gradual stop. You're able to look up and get to your feet, looking up slope. Hachu inside the protective barrier that you've placed him in, about 80 yards out in all directions. The space that you're in is illuminated. If you could ever picture yourself being an ant inside the ash mound that sits in the middle of, say, a giant cast iron cook pot or like boiler, you're essentially inside what is a giant gas boiler. There is bluish green pilot lights perimetering the entire edge of this giant pot that you're inside, that leads up to what seems like a smokestack or chimney stack at the very top center of the, in quotations, ceiling. At your feet and around your hands is a mixture of bones that are cleanly burned and swept completely free of any residue, mixed in with this ash that you now realize is just a couple houses tall sized mound. Perfectly smooth mound, aside from the part that you caused to collapse, of what could easily be thousands of cremated bodies that you are now standing halfway up the slope of. And kind of standing at the top of the slope next to the ball, you see a large, kind of reddish gray clad figure. They're wearing what seems to be a suit very similar to Hachu's, and they seem to bear what looks like two very large set of horns that adorn either side of their head that curls around, almost resting on their shoulder, as they kind of lean over a bit against the ball and just have a very casual "I'ma sell you a car" kind of pose. Why are you two involved now? I don't recall summoning either of you. Who are these? Are these your friends, Hachu? These are your friends, aren't they?
Oh, I should have known it was you.
Ah, so you know why I'm giving you a little ring then, right?
Well, I guess they do now.
I don't want your excuses. Listen. You promised me 30. You can tell my mound's getting a little... Yeah, I want to freshen it up. I want to add a new layer to this, and you're making that awful difficult. I watched Death get his dues with that recent endeavor, and I dare say those souls that you could have brought, nobody really cares about them. They don't have any deity looking out for them. They're pretty baseless. And You didn't exactly bring them to me like we agreed. You gotta answer why. As you see his hand kind of pressed to the sealed ball, as it just kind of melds through it, and his hand slowly grasps again around your throat as the magical ball shatters, and he raises Hachu back up by his neck and starts to strangle him. Why do you gotta tease me like that?
Well, would you believe it? I told you it wasn't on purpose.
Eh. Very well. Well, since they're here, they might as well be accompaniment to it, too. However, I'm assuming neither of you want to make a deal, sign a little pact with me?
No, thank you.
Yeah, didn't think so. After all, you got that. Oh. Ha! You keep some fun company. One signs a pact with a god, the other one seems to have signed a pact with a dragon. Hmm. Well, I won't bore you with the details, but I'm gonna take a wee little bit of advanced payment on our agreement. Your number's up to 40 now, son.
I'm gonna cast Banishment on Hachu.
Before you can, you can almost hear the sound of a slight crunching as he'll grip around Hachu's neck tighter, flings him upwards and like a wet towel, whips him down towards you two, smacking against you two as you all three tumble down through the ash mixture and cremation mixture before the three of you find yourselves kind of rolling across the Zagros estate floor again, with the table completely turned over and some of the stuff across the floor, as you guys are back in Greece once again. Hachu, your neck's a little bruised.
You don't say. Well,
I'll immediately see to that.
y'all
Oh.
see the stakes I'm in now.
That was something, all right.
Well, in case you wanted to know, that was Couch himself. And so now I have 40. Great.
And he can just summon you at any time like that.
Apparently so. It's not just in your sleep.
Wonder why he got us too.
That is odd.
I have no idea. I don't. I'm gonna need a minute.
As you guys
Do you
kind
think it's just
of
because we were close to him?
I don't know.
As you guys are kind of pondering this, uprighting the couple chairs and the table, and starting to pick up some of the stuff, while you're also looking to his neck, healing the bit of bruising. It's not loud enough to wake up Torn, who seems to be in kind of a magical assisted rest that he seems to be due. You guys can hear from down the hall very faintly almost like a kind of distant sort of reminder. As it slowly starts to fade out a little bit. And slowly gets a little more quiet. And then you hear that little tick of the music box as it stops spinning, likely in the jacket pocket hanging on the chair in Torn's room. And with
Got that to do too.
with that, we will end today's session with a friendly check-in from our favorite deals devil. And we will pick up next session with a little bit of a skip forward with everybody, hopefully the full party available to reconvene after dinner has been had, probably late evening with the arrival of the Albatross and your guys' plane. Till next session, catch you guys all around, and yeah, gonna be a good time.
The airplane put down at the airstrip on a cold and gloomy day, and the 6 aboard all knew their homes were very far away. The strife that gripped the forest all around them was their plight. They knew that something out there wasn't right. There were creatures in the bush, and there were soldiers in the woods. There were zealots in the ruins. There was magic that's no good. Grenades were used aplenty, guns and swords brought in, and death. When it finished, only 5 or 6 were left. On the flight back to their quarters, the new place to be their home, the dangers of their future had been surely set in stone. The content of their briefing brought their purpose into light. These 5 strangers had been brought into the fight. There are stories of the kobold, of Wilhelm Schwartz and Father Peter too. There are tales of the hoplite, of Leroy Copeland and Hatshu. And while the details of their past and trials were never meant to spawn